Chapter 2037. Being scolded by Hua Chunhua. Zhao Wenshui was struck dumb for a second, then panicked. If he told his mother the truth, he would be killed. Therefore, he covered his stomach at once, and said to Hua Chunhua with an aggrieved look, "Mom, why didn't you go to bed in the middle of the night? I had a stomachache, and I wanted to take a dump, so I came out." Seeing Zhao Wenshui's disgusting look, Hua Chunhua disliked him very much. She wouldn't believe Zhao Wenshui's nonsense. "Haha, Wenshui, who are you kidding? You had a stomachache in the middle of the night, and you wanted to take a dump. Why didn't you stay in the latrine? Why did you come to someone else's room?" Hua Chunhua's words fell into the ears of Zhao Wenshui and Zhao Wenshui. Zhao Wenshui clenched his fists in anger, then rushed to Zhao Wenshui and scolded Zhao Wenshui. "You bastard! What do you want to do this time?" Zhao Wenshui trembled in fear. Looking at Zhao Wenshui's angry face, he stammered, "Wenshui, I really didn't do anything. I just had a stomachache, and I wanted to take a dump. That's why I got up in the middle of the night." Then his sight fell on Hua Chunhua, and he muttered, "Mom, I really didn't want to do anything." Hua Chunhua rolled her eyes. "Wenshui, it's fine if you want to come up with an excuse, but you should come up with a better one. You can take a dump if you want, but why did you do it in front of someone else's room?" Zhao Wenshui thought Hua Chunhua's words made sense. He grabbed Zhao Wenshui's collar and said angrily, "Exactly, what do you want to do? Second brother, you'd better be honest with me. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson." Zhao Wenshui muttered in his heart, "Tell me the truth. Wasn't this a joke?" He said that he got up in the middle of the night to steal food. She was afraid that the people of the first branch would punish him even more miserably if they heard it. He wasn't an idiot. How could he possibly say such things? After thinking for a few seconds, Zhao Wenshui said in a low voice, "Mom, brother, it's because Tianhu and his niece-in-law were so noisy that I couldn't help but come here to have a look." Zhao Wenshui's voice grew softer and softer. Towards the end of his speech, even he lacked confidence. Hearing that, Zhao Wenshui was displeased. "You son of a bitch. Why are you so shameless? I didn't blame you for what you did before, but now you're doing it again." Zhao Wenshui hurriedly said, Brother, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't have a wife, right? I haven't done it for a long time, and I'm bored, so Brother, you're a man too. You should understand me, right?" Zhao Wenshui originally thought that Zhao Wenshui would let him go if he said such sensational words, but in the next second, he realized that he was wrong. Zhao Wenshui directly reached out his fist and heavily punched Zhao Wenshui's face. Zhao Wenshui groaned in pain. "Brother, you son of a bitch. You're an elder. Aren't you ashamed to do such a thing? Aren't you afraid that others will laugh at you if they hear it? If I don't teach you a lesson today, you'll still be itching for a beating." Zhao Wenshui scolded angrily. Chapter 2038. After Zhao Wenshui was beaten up by Zhao Wenshui, he was injured and hadn't recovered yet. As a result, Zhao Wenshui continued to beat him up. How could Zhao Wenshui withstand such torment? It was extremely painful to have new injuries on top of old ones, especially when his dislocated arm was touched. Zhao Wenshui was in so much pain that cold sweat appeared on his forehead. "Big brother, please forgive me. I really won't dare to do it again. If you continue to beat me, I'll die." Zhao Wenshui begged for mercy as he dodged. Zhao Wenshui was unmoved. He was really angry at Zhao Wenshui. If he didn't teach Zhao Wenshui a lesson, he wouldn't be able to vent the anger in his heart. Seeing that Zhao Wenshui couldn't do anything, Zhao Wenshui could only ask Hua Chunhua for help. "Mom, I'm dying. Please save me. No matter what, I'm still your son. You can't just watch me get beaten to death by Big Brother." Hua Chunhua watched coldly from the side. She didn't want to get involved. After all, what Zhao Wenshui did was too embarrassing. As an old woman, she didn't have the face to listen to Zhao Wenshui's words. "You black-hearted second son. Didn't you learn your lesson before? Now you're still doing such despicable things like before. Even if you're not ashamed, I'm ashamed for you. You've completely embarrassed me." Hua Chunhua replied angrily. Feng Zhangxia, who was standing at the side, agreed. "That's right. Second brother, you've gone too far. What did you do? My Tianhu has always been shy. After what you did, Tianhu will definitely be too embarrassed to meet others. If we don't teach this kind of person a lesson, it'll be a disaster for our old Zhao family. Feng Zhangxia said that on purpose for Hu Chunhua to hear. She hoped that Hu Chunhua would not stop her. How could Hu Chunhua not understand the meaning behind her eldest daughter-in-law's words? She nodded in agreement. Lao Er really can't be forgiven for doing such a thing. He needs to be taught a good lesson so that he will remember. With Hu Chunhua's words, Zhao Wenshi tightened his grip. Just now, because his mother was beside him, he restrained himself when he hit Zhao Wenshi. Now he went all out, and Zhao Wenshi screamed even louder. "Oh, my brother, my brother. I'll really die if we keep fighting. Mom, help me." Zhao Wenshui's blood-curdling screams startled the other people in old Zhao's courtyard. People from old Zhao's yard came out to see what was going on. "Why aren't you sleeping in the middle of the night? What are you doing?" Zhao Baoshan had drunk a lot that night, so he had not sobered up yet. He asked a little drunkenly. Zhao Wenshi replied, "Dad, you can ask Er. I'm too embarrassed to tell you what he has done." Hearing his father's tone, Zhao Baoshan frowned and turned to look at Zhao Wenshi. "What did you do this time?" Zhao Baoshan scolded him coldly. "Dad, I didn't do anything. I really didn't do anything. Please ask my brother to forgive me." Zhao Wenshi said bitterly. His mother couldn't save him, so he had to turn to someone else for help. Maybe Zhao Baoshan would feel sorry for him. Zhao Baoshan was drunk, but he wasn't stupid. Who would believe that you didn't do anything in the middle of the night? If you didn't do anything, why would your brother beat you? Chapter 2039. Zhao Wenshi felt his vision darken for a moment. His mind was in a daze. He couldn't stand steadily, and almost fell to the ground. He didn't know how painful it was. He felt like he was going to die, and it was difficult for him to breathe. Hu Chunhua had been observing Zhao Wenshui's reaction. She noticed that Zhao Wenshui wasn't in a good condition, so she stopped Zhao Wenshui at once. "Boss, you've already hit him, and Baojia is seriously injured. He must have learned his lesson this time. I don't think he would dare to do it again. If you continue to hit him, he might die, and you'll be in trouble." Zhao Wenshui glanced at Zhao Wenshui, then stopped. Zhao Wenshui fell to the ground all of a sudden, and didn't have the strength to get up again. Zhao Baoshan had drunk too much wine and wasn't feeling well. He didn't have the time to care about Zhao Wenshui's life or death. He snorted softly before returning to his room. Zhao Baoshan had already drunk too much wine and was feeling unwell. He didn't have the leisure to care about Zhao Wenshui's life or death. "Mom!" Zhao Wenshui waved at Hu Chunhua weakly. "Mom, can you give me a hand?" Hu Chunhua said curiously. "That's enough, second brother. Stop pretending. Stop tormenting yourself." "Mom, I'm not pretending. Can you give me a hand?" Zhao Wenshui's throat was dry, and his face was as pale as a dead person under the moonlight. Hu Chunhua didn't realize that Zhao Wenshui wasn't pretending until now. She immediately called the members of the fourth branch of the Hu family to watch. "Baoshan, help your elder brother get up and send him into the room." Zhao Wentao didn't understand what had happened. Even if Zhao Wenshui did something wrong, it had nothing to do with the fourth branch of the Hu family. After all, Zhao Wenshui was his elder brother, and he couldn't ignore him. Hearing Hu Chunhua's words, Zhao Wentao hurriedly walked over and helped Zhao Wenshui up from the ground. According to Hu Chunhua's instructions, he sent Zhao Wenshui back to the second branch of the Hu family. "Mom, Baojia seems to be in a bad condition. Should we call Dr. Sun to have a look? Otherwise." Zhao Wentao's face was full of worry. He looked at Hu Chunhua and asked. Hu Chunhua glanced at Zhao Wenshui, who was lying on the bed, and replied coldly. "He deserves it. To find a doctor. Besides, it's late at night. If we don't go to bed, Dr. Sun has to sleep. If we call Dr. Sun over now, old Zhao's family will become a joke tomorrow." "Mom, do you mean you don't care about Baojiao anymore? What if?" Before Zhao Wentao could finish, Hu Chunhua interrupted him. "What if? He deserves to die. He's such a bastard. He only knows how to embarrass me. I feel embarrassed because of him." After scolding Zhao Wenshui, Hu Chunhua turned around and was about to leave. She said to Zhao Wentao, "All right, Baoshan, don't worry about him. Go back to your room and have a good rest. Zhao Wentao sighed to Zhao Wenshui, who was lying on the bed. In the end, he nodded and went back to his room. He didn't care whether Zhao Wenshui was dead or alive. As for Zhao Tianhu, after making a ruckus, he returned to Jinju's side. Jinju blushed and asked Zhao Tianhu, "Hubby, what happened?" "It's my uncle." Zhao Tianhu lowered his head and said with embarrassment, "I don't know why he leaned against our window and watched us do it just now." Chapter 2040. In any case, Zhao Wenshui was an elder. How could a person who was several decades old do such a thing? Just listening to it was enough to make one speechless. Thinking that she had to stay in touch with Zhao Wenshui in old Zhao's house in the future, Jinju was a little scared. Feeling Jinju's body trembling, Zhao Tianhu knew that Jinju was scared, so he held Jinju's hand and comforted her. "Ju, don't be afraid. I'll protect you well in the future. I won't let anyone bully you." Jinju replied in a low voice, "Sure. Ju, now that everything is fine, shall we continue?" Zhao Tianhu asked Jinju gently in her ear. Jinju felt a little embarrassed. "Honey, I think we'd better forget it." After being disturbed by Zhao Wenshui, she was unable to calm down. How could she still have the mood to do such a thing? Her original desire was like a basin of cold water being poured over her head, extinguishing all her desires. "Great, then let's go to bed early. It's getting late now." Zhao Tianhu didn't force Jinju. He considerately let Jinju lie down, and the two fell asleep in each other's arms. The next day, Jinju went to bed very late because she had too much fun at night. She didn't get up until it was daytime. Feng Zhangxia didn't mind. She knew that it was Jinju's first time, so it was normal that she couldn't get up the next day. Anyway, there was nothing important at home that Jinju needed to do. It was better for Jinju to sleep more. Different from Jinju, Zhao Tianhu was strong, so he didn't feel tired at all after what they had done last night. He got up very early in the morning. When Jinju woke up, the sun was already very strong. Once she saw the dazzling sunlight outside, Jinju was scared and immediately got up from the bed. She looked a little flustered. Before she got married, although Zhou Damei was just a stepmother, she had taught her a lot. Unlike in her parents' home, she had to take good care of her parents-in-law. Otherwise, her parents-in-law would complain, and she would have a hard time in her future. Especially on the first day of her marriage, she should wake up early in the morning to help with the housework, so that her in-laws would like her. "Ju, are you awake?" Zhao Tianhu walked into the room. Seeing Jinju get up, he greeted her with a smile. Jinju nodded, then complained to Zhao Tianhu. "Tianhu, why didn't you call me when you got up? I slept alone until now." Zhao Tianhu gave a silly smile and said, "Ju, it's fine. Sleep a little more. You were so tired last night, so you should sleep a little more today. Rest well. Otherwise, where would you get the strength to do that?" Hearing Zhao Tianhu's words, Jinju's cheeks suddenly turned red. "My husband." "Haha, honey, you don't have to be shy. We're already husband and wife." Jinju lowered her head, her face full of shyness. Although she had already done it with Zhao Tianhu, she was still very shy. She was a girl, so she wasn't as thick-skinned as Zhao Tianhu. He didn't know how to be shy. "Tianhu, you have to call me next time. Don't let me sleep so late. I'm married to your family, so I have to be more diligent in your home." Zhao Tianhu opened his mouth and smiled, revealing a row of white eyes. "Okay, honey, I know. I'll call you when I get up later." Jinju nodded heavily and replied, "Okay." Chapter 2041. He had gotten married later than the other men in the village. Some of the men around his age had already become fathers and had several children. Now that he had married Jinju, Zhao Tianhu finally understood why God had made him wait for so long. It was to give him the best wife. To be able to marry such a beautiful and virtuous wife like Jinju was a very happy thing. Jinju smiled and said, "Let's not talk about it anymore. I'm going to wash up first." "Okay. I'll go ask my mother if there's any breakfast left." "Okay." When Jinju walked out of the house, she found that there were several people sitting in the house. Shen Pan was playing with Zhao Yangyang in the courtyard. Zhao Xinhui was sitting under the shade of a tree with his legs crossed and eating melon seeds leisurely. As for Feng Zhangxia, she was busy washing clothes. She was washing clothes for the whole family. When she walked out, everyone's eyes fell on her. Jinju was a little embarrassed to be stared at like that, but she still shamelessly walked up to them and greeted them one by one. Mother, sister-in-law, little aunt, Feng Zhangxia smiled and responded. Out of politeness, Shen Pan'er also smiled and nodded. Seeing Feng Zhangxia and Shen Pan'er's attitude, Jinju breathed a sigh of relief. Her mother-in-law, brother, and sister-in-law were all easy to get along with. Her life in her in-laws' house wouldn't be too difficult after she married into their family. Zhou Damei had also told her that whether she lived a good life in her in-laws' house depended on her mother-in-law first. If her mother-in-law was easy to get along with, there wouldn't be so many problems in the future. Another thing was her sisters-in-law. If her sisters-in-law were too scheming, they would fight openly and secretly. Her life would also be chaotic and uncomfortable. Now that she saw that Zhou Damei's situation didn't fall on old Zhao's family, Jinju naturally felt lucky. The corners of her mouth couldn't help but curl up into a smile. She looked forward to the future even more. However, what made Jinju's heart turn cold was Zhao Xinhui's attitude and words. Zhao Xinhui rolled her eyes and said to Feng Zhangxia while eating melon seeds, "Sister-in-law, your taste in choosing a daughter-in-law is not good this time. My second niece-in-law is not the same as Hope. She is a miss from a big family. She slept until this time on the first day of her marriage. I don't know what she will be like in the future." Jinju's face immediately turned red. She glanced at Zhao Xinhui and felt as though something had smashed into her chest. Feng Zhangxia smiled embarrassedly and defended her second daughter-in-law. "Aunt Jewer is too tired. She slept late last night, so she's a little late today. Anyway, there's nothing to do. She can sleep a little longer." Jinju glanced at Feng Zhangxia with gratitude. She didn't expect her mother-in-law to be so kind and defend her. However, Zhao Xinhui coldly snorted and said, "Sister-in-law, it's fine if you don't mention it. Now that you mention it, I feel that this daughter-in-law of yours simply doesn't know how to be embarrassed. It's the first day she married into our Zhao family, and she already made such a big commotion at night. How can the rest of us sleep? Even Pan'er didn't do this when she married us. They are both daughters-in-law, but they can't be compared. Pan'er was born in a big family, so her upbringing is indeed a little different. As for this new wife, I guess she doesn't have a mother to teach her. That's why she's so shameless and shameless." Zhao Xinhui had a reason to pick on Jinju. Chapter 2042. Now that young Master Huang had abandoned her, she had to stay in the countryside and couldn't go anywhere. Moreover, life in the countryside wasn't easy. Not only did she lack basic necessities, but without young Master Huang, she couldn't do that. It would have been fine if she hadn't done it before, but she had experienced it and knew what it felt like to be in love. Moreover, she had just lost her child and her heart was very empty. She desperately wanted to relieve the loneliness in her heart and find a man to play with her. So when she heard Jinju's moans, how could a normal woman like her take it? After hearing Jinju's moans for so long, she couldn't sleep well. Her body was hot, and she couldn't get rid of it, so she couldn't sleep well the entire night. Now she naturally blamed Jinju for this matter. She was in a bad mood and was picking on Jinju's thorns. Zhao Xinhui's words made Jinju extremely embarrassed. Her entire face flushed red for a moment, and she stood in the courtyard, feeling somewhat restless and uneasy. Zhao Xinhui had humiliated her so mercilessly. As a girl, how could she be so thick-skinned as to listen to Zhao Xinhui's words? Shen Pan'er, who was sitting by the side, looked on with a hint of schadenfreude. She didn't feel much sympathy for her second sister-in-law. Feng Zhangxia pursed her lips awkwardly. "Little sister, it's really not a big deal. It's just one day. They are newlyweds, so it's normal for them to be a little late at night. They can't do it every day." Zhao Xinhui snorted. "Sister-in-law, you're so magnanimous. You're even helping them with something so embarrassing. If it were my wife, I would probably despise her to death." As Zhao Xinhui spoke, she rolled her eyes at Jinju. Jinju lowered her head. She was a thin-skinned person, so how could she stand other people's words? Feng Zhangxia glanced at Jinju. She saw that Jinju's head was lowered and her ears and neck were all red. She could imagine how Jinju was feeling right now. Feng Zhengxia sighed softly. Her youngest sister-in-law was always like this. She just had to make things difficult for others. It was their wedding night. What was a little more trouble between the newlyweds? She didn't believe that Zhao Xinhui and young Master Huang hadn't done it before. If they hadn't done it, then how did Zhao Xinhui's child come about? Now she was teaching Jinju a lesson, making Jinju very embarrassed. As her mother-in-law, it was naturally not easy for her. No matter what, since her daughters-in-law had married over, she had to help them out a little. She didn't want her two daughters-in-law to go through the pain that she had suffered from Hu Chunhua before. Little sister, look at what you're saying. Zhu'er and Tianhu are officially husband and wife. No matter how much they torment others, no one can say anything. It's not like they're having an affair. What's there to be embarrassed about? Feng Zhengxia replied with an embarrassed smile. At this time, Zhao Yun'er, who had just arrived at the first branch's place, heard Feng Zhengxia's words and praised Feng Zhengxia very much. Now it seemed that her aunt was really protective of her daughter-in-law. Although she didn't treat others well, she could be considered a competent mother-in-law. After Feng Zhengxia finished speaking, Zhao Yun'er smiled and said, "Eldest aunt is right. They're not having an affair. What's wrong with having intercourse between husband and wife? If they can't have intercourse, how can they carry on old Zhao's family line? Youngest aunt, don't tell me you think that the child is just randomly picked up? In any case, you're married. Don't tell me you haven't had intercourse before?" Zhao Yun'er's words made Zhao Xinhui so angry that her face and ears turned red. Chapter 2043. Zhao Yun'er, aren't you ashamed that you keep talking about sexual intercourse? Zhao Xinhui asked angrily. Zhao Yun'er shrugged nonchalantly. Youngest aunt, why should I be ashamed? Could it be that I'm wrong? How can I have a child if I don't have sexual intercourse? Could it be that youngest aunt is special and jumped out of a crack in a rock? Zhao Xinhui's face turned ashen with anger. This B***TCH was too much. How could a young girl say such things? And she had to say such words to go against her. Zhao Yun'er, you have no sense of shame. You're a girl. But I've never seen anyone more shameless than you. You haven't married the heir of the crown prince. And you haven't held a wedding ceremony. You're just an unmarried girl. How could you say such things? It's completely inappropriate. I don't know where you're going to put your face. Youngest aunt, you don't have to worry about that. I'm unmarried, but I already have a child. What's wrong with saying such things? On the other hand, youngest aunt, you're always saying that others are shameless. I'm afraid that you're the most shameless person here. Zhao Xinhui glared at her and said, How am I shameless? You slut, explain yourself clearly. Zhao Yun'er put her hands on her hips and raised her chin. Since someone was so insensible, then there was no harm in explaining it clearly. With a smile on her lips, she replied teasingly, Youngest aunt, everyone in our village knows that you've been divorced by young Master Huang. Not only did you stay at home, but you also shamelessly said that I, Ping-er, hooked up with older sister Ping-er's man. At the very least, Qin Yuan called you youngest aunt. Don't you think that's incest? To put it bluntly, you're shameless. You even tried to steal your own niece's man. Zhao Yun'er didn't give her any face. When Zhao Xinhui heard this, her face flushed red. Slut, you're too much. How dare you say such things about me? I'm your aunt. Zhao Xinhui couldn't help but curse. Zhao Yun'er smiled and said indifferently, I'm telling the truth. I'm afraid that you don't want to hear it. What a pity. It's useless even if you don't let me say it. Anyway, it has already spread throughout the village. Auntie, there's a good saying that paper can't wrap fire. If you don't want people to know, then don't do it in the first place. You're being laughed at by the whole village now. I don't know where you got the face to say that to others. If people knew, I'm afraid they would laugh their heads off. Zhao Xinhui was almost driven mad by Zhao Yun'er's words. How could she have known that the matter between her and Qin Yuan had already been made known to everyone? She had become the laughingstock of the entire village. And then there was the matter of young Master Huang breaking off the engagement. The more she thought about it, the more embarrassed she felt. She wasn't the kind of person who was particularly thick-skinned. She still wanted to save some face. At this moment, Hu Chunhua came out of the room. Zhao Xinhui angrily went up to Hu Chunhua and complained to Hu Chunhua, Mother, look. This Yuner girl's mouth is so cheap. She's talking bad about me. Hurry up and help me vent my anger. What Chunhua was used to protecting Zhao Xinhui. How could she see Zhao Xinhui being wronged? She looked at Zhao Yuner and asked somewhat angrily, Yuner girl, aren't you going too far? How did your aunt offend you again? Grandmother, I didn't do anything. I just said the truth. And auntie became desperate. Why don't you ask eldest aunt and the others what I said wrong? Zhao Yuner was also very imposing. She didn't cower in the slightest when facing Hua Chunhua. Chapter 2044. No matter what, Zhao Yuner had spoken up for their family just now, so she should stand on Zhao Yuner's side now. Thus, she sheepishly replied to Hua Chunhua, Mother, Yuner is right. She didn't do anything overboard, or say anything overboard. Sister-in-law, can't you speak with some conscience? That wretched girl just said that I was shameless. Are you deaf? Zhao Xinhui glared at Feng Zhangxia angrily. Auntie, Yuner is telling the truth. Everyone in the village said that. She's not the only one. You can't just blame her. Feng Zhangxia weakly replied. She was very disdainful of Zhao Xinhui in her heart. Indeed, everyone in the village knew and was talking about it. Since Zhao Xinhui felt that it was embarrassing, then she shouldn't have done those shameless things in the first place. She had to bear the brunt of the gossip. Mother. Zhao Xinhui angrily stomped her feet and looked at Hua Chunhua. Hua Chunhua's eyes clouded over, but she didn't know what to do. After all, she was aware of those nasty words coming out of the village. She was already so old, but now that she was old, she was being laughed at, saying that her daughter was indecent. But what else could she do? Zhao Xinhui was her biological daughter. She couldn't do anything about it. All right, Huir, go back to the house and rest first. It's not fun to quarrel with the family. If they come here later, they'll laugh at our old Zhao family again. Hua Chunhua patted Zhao Xinhui. She had no intention of standing up for Zhao Xinhui. Zhao Xinhui looked at Hua Chunhua resentfully. Mother, you're not even standing up for me. Child, stop making a fuss. Mother has a headache. I still have other things to do. With that, Hua Chunhua turned around and left. Zhao Xinhui glanced at Zhao Yuner, and then glanced at Feng Zhangxia. He stomped his feet in anger, and turned to enter the house. Finally, the courtyard of old Zhao's house fell into silence. Feng Zhangxia heaved a sigh of relief. She was very annoyed when she thought of her aunt making a fuss. Jin Ju was the one who couldn't react to what had just happened. Jin Ju's face was red, and her heart was filled with panic. This was the first time someone had scolded her for being shameless because of sexual intercourse. She was already thin-skinned to begin with, so how could she withstand such words from others? Thinking that everyone in the family knew that she had done that thing with Zhao Tianhu in the bridal chamber last night, Jin Ju became even more shy. If she had known that so many people would hear it, she would have restrained herself last night. Unfortunately, it was too late to regret it now. She didn't know how to face old Zhao's family now. Second cousin-in-law. Don't take my aunt's words to heart. She's just like that. She doesn't feel comfortable if she doesn't pick on others. Zhao Yuner patted Jin Ju's shoulder and comforted her. Jin Ju looked at Zhao Yuner with some gratitude. Fortunately, Zhao Yuner helped her to resolve the awkwardness just now. Otherwise, she wouldn't know how to face the people in the courtyard. Feng Zhangxia also smiled and said, That's right, second daughter-in-law. Don't take your aunt's words to heart. How can you have children if you don't sleep in the bridal chamber? Children don't jump out of a crack in the stone. You have to work hard in the bedroom. I still want to hold a grandson soon. I hope that you can get pregnant soon and give Tianhu a child. Tianhu is not young anymore. In the village, people of his age are already fathers. Jin Ju responded shyly and said in a low voice, Okay. Chapter 2045. Feng Zhangxia wiped her hands as she spoke, and looked like she was about to enter the kitchen again. Jin Ju hurriedly said, Mother, I'll do it myself. You don't have to work so hard. She was already done when she woke up. If she had to look for Feng Zhangxia for meals, she would become a lazy daughter-in-law. In order to avoid leaving a bad impression, it was better for him to look for her for meals himself. Feng Zhangxia waved her hand. It's okay. It's your first day here. You're not familiar with anything. Mother will do it. Later, I'll slowly tell you where to put the things. Mother. Jinju was about to say something, but Feng Zhangxia had already turned and entered the kitchen. She was very diligent. Zhao Yun'er watched from the side and opened her mouth. Her aunt was really different in front of her daughter-in-law. She was so good to her daughter-in-law that no one could find fault with her. It was a blessing to have such a mother-in-law, wasn't it? Jinju stood there with tears in her eyes. It seemed that she was moved by Feng Zhangxia. Zhao Yun'er thought that something was wrong with Jinju and asked Jinju, second cousin-in-law, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? Are you feeling unwell? Jinju shook her head and looked at Feng Zhangxia's busy figure. She choked and said, no, I just feel that my mother-in-law is too good to me. She's like my deceased mother. In Jinju's memory, the only person who was good to Jinju in this life was her biological mother. Unfortunately, her biological mother passed away when she was young. Later, Zhou Damei married into her family and became her stepmother. This stepmother was not as good as her biological mother. She didn't treat her well and liked to order her to work every day. In the past few years, she had been suffering and didn't feel the love of her family for a day. Now that she had married into old Zhao's family, she felt that Feng Zhangxia was very good to her. She doted on her, as if she was her biological mother. And she hadn't felt this kind of closeness for many years. After thinking of her mother, Jinju's eyes naturally reddened, and she had an impulse to cry. Zhao Yun'er comforted her. It's okay, second cousin-in-law. Everything is over now. Since you married into old Zhao's family, you will start a new life. I believe that my aunt will treat you well, and my second cousin will definitely protect you well. Hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, Jinju was filled with hope for the future. She nodded heavily and replied, "N." The two of them looked at each other and smiled. Shin Pan who was taking care of Zhao Yangyang, felt a little uncomfortable. There was only one mother-in-law. If she treated Jinju well, she would have to share some of her responsibilities. In the future, Feng Zhangxia would not be as devoted to their family as before. If there was anything good, they would share it with Zhao Tianhu and his family. Shin Pan'er was worried about the future. In the future, when their family's heavenly dragon passed the imperial examinations and became a high-ranking official, would they still have to lead Zhao Tianhu and his family? Although they were biological brothers, there was a good saying, biological brothers should settle their accounts clearly. Since they had their own families, they shouldn't continue to stick together. Before old Zhao's family split, Shen Pan'er was very annoyed by the troubles caused by the other branches. However, after splitting, it was much quieter. Therefore, before Zhao Tianlong made a name for himself, it would be best to split the family. Otherwise, when Zhao Tianlong became a high-ranking official, he would definitely be criticized by others. Chapter 2046. Shin Pan'er rolled her eyes, thinking about how to bring this matter up with Feng Zhangxia. It would be best to mention it tactfully, or let Zhao Tianhu's branch take the initiative to separate from the family. Feng Zhangxia heated up breakfast in a short while and called Jinju over to eat. The food was still leftovers from yesterday's banquet. It fell into Zhao Yun'er's well last night and didn't spoil, so it could continue to be eaten today. Jinju was also very hungry at this moment, so it didn't take long for her to finish a bowl of rice. After eating, Feng Zhangxia asked Jinju to leave the food aside so that she could wash it later. This time, no matter how Feng Zhangxia stopped Jinju, she didn't compromise and took the initiative to do some work. She felt a little uncomfortable if she wasn't busy for a day. After a while, Feng Zhangxia remembered that Zhao Yun'er was here, so she asked Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er, why are you here?" Zhao Yun'er wasn't in a hurry. She nodded and replied, "I want to ask second cousin for help. Tianhu is right behind the house. He's building our chicken shed." Feng Zhangxia replied, then shouted at Zhao Tianhu, "Tianhu, Yun'er is calling for you. Hurry up and come over." Zhao Tianhu responded, then came out of the house. "Little sister Yun'er, why did you call me?" Zhao Tianhu asked with a silly smile. "My father asked me to come over and call you. He said that he can't do the work in the fields alone, so he wants you to help." Zhao Tianhu responded without hesitation, "Okay, Yun'er, I'll go now." "Okay." Zhao Yin'er smiled. Her second cousin was really good. He had a good temper and didn't feel tired when working. He didn't hesitate at all. Let's go now. Zhao Tianhu wiped his forehead, put down the tools in his hand, and pretended to leave with Zhao Yin'er. Jinju followed him, looking a little reluctant. Zhao Tianhu patted Jinju's head lovingly and said to Jinju, "Wife, you stay at home and have a good rest. I'll be back soon." Jinju answered reluctantly. When Zhao Yin'er saw how reluctant the two couples were to part, she immediately felt guilty. She wondered if she should come to Zhao Tianhu for help and give the couple more time to spend together. After all, they had just gotten married. The relationship between the two of them was still at the stage of cultivation and sublimation. They needed to spend more time together. Okay, Jinju replied. Zhao Tianhu followed Zhao Yin'er and headed towards Zhao Yin'er's house. On the way, Zhao Yin'er couldn't help but tease Zhao Tianhu. "Second cousin, it seems that you have a good relationship with second sister-in-law." "Pretty good," Zhao Tianhu replied shyly. "What do you mean pretty good?" "It's just pretty good." "Second cousin, I mean how good is it?" "This." Zhao Tianhu lowered his head and thought to himself. So good that he couldn't wait to eat Jinju a few more times? But how could he say this? If he said this to Zhao Yin'er, she would be embarrassed to death as a girl. "Yin'er, don't ask. Just wait for your wedding," Zhao Tianhu said with a red face. "But second cousin, there's still a long time before my wedding. Why don't you tell me first?" Zhao Yin'er chuckled and narrowed her beautiful eyes. Her beautiful eyes were sparkling, revealing a hint of intelligence. Chapter 2047. Of course, Zhao Tianhu was just joking and didn't really mean it. Zhao Yin'er didn't care and said, "So what? Shizi won't dislike me. It's good enough that I don't dislike him." Zhao Tianhu smiled. "Little sister Yin'er, I didn't expect you to be so cute when you're narcissistic. What kind of person is Shizi? His identity is extraordinary, and he won't lack women around him. You have to grasp this opportunity well and trap Shizi's heart. Don't let Shizi have a change of heart. The most unreliable people in the world are men. You can trust anyone but men because men are the easiest to have a change of heart." Zhao Yin'er was amused by Zhao Tianhu. She didn't expect that her second cousin, who was usually simple and honest, would say something like this. It really surprised her. Zhao Yin'er couldn't help but tease and ask Zhao Tianhu, "Second cousin as a man, do you also have a change of heart?" Zhao Tianhu's face turned slightly red and then said weakly, "Of course I won't. His wife was so good. She was beautiful, diligent, and virtuous. He wouldn't have a change of heart unless he was stupid." Among the other men in the village, there were not many who had a better wife than his wife. "Second cousin, since you won't, then Shizi won't either. Why do you think Shizi is more fickle than you?" Zhao Yin'er smiled. "Little sister Yin'er, I'm different from Shizi. I'm just a country bumpkin, and I don't have any skills. It's good enough to be able to marry a wife like Ju'er. How can I be picky and have a change of heart? But Shizi's identity is different. He can have whatever he wants. There must be a lot of beauties around him. The more temptations he receives, the higher the chances of him having a change of heart." After listening to Zhao Tianhu's words, it seemed to make sense, but in fact it wasn't. Zhao Yin'er had full confidence that Mu Lianfeng would not have a change of heart. "Second cousin, you're right. But before he met me, the crown prince had many beauties by his side. But he only liked someone like me who wasn't very attractive. It can be seen that to the crown prince, a person's appearance isn't the most important thing. Since you don't like beauties, why are you afraid that he won't be able to resist the temptation of beauties and will fall in love with someone else?" Zhao Tianhu was stunned. After thinking for a while, he nodded. "Sister Yin'er, what you said seems to make sense. If Shizi likes beauties, he wouldn't be single now. Sister Yin'er is really lucky to have met a man like Shizi." Zhao Tianhu grinned. His smile was bright and beautiful. It was very beautiful. The two of them continued walking and soon arrived at Zhao Yin'er's house. Zhao Tianhu went to the field with Zhao Wenhua. They said that they were going to fill the paddy field with water. It was inconvenient for Zhao Wenshui to take care of the water wheel alone. There weren't many people in the family who could help. Zhao Tianhu and their branch were very close. Usually, They would call for Zhao Tianhu for small matters. Because they were familiar with each other, they didn't think much of it. After Zhao Yun'er returned, she pondered about going up the mountain to pick some wild mushrooms. Now that she was eating vegetables at home every day, she felt that it was a bit bland. Because she didn't go to town often, she didn't eat much meat every day. Wild mushrooms were delicious, so she picked some to improve her diet. Chapter 2048. They should be able to eat for a few days after picking them, and keeping them fresh. Of course, if they went up the mountain, it would be even better to get some game. The taste of some wild animals couldn't even compare to pork. When Zhao Yun'er returned home, she found that Mu Lianfeng was nursing Tian. Even though he was the heir, he had gained a lot of experience after taking care of children for a period of time. He was very good at nursing Tian. Zhao Yun'er walked over and looked at Mu Lianfeng with a faint smile. Heir apparent, wouldn't it be too unfair for someone of your status to stay at home and take care of the child? Why don't I do it? Zhao Yun'er pretended to take Tian from Mu Lianfeng's hands, but Tian avoided her. No need, Yun'er. Let me do it. It's my duty to take care of the child. I won't be tired. Mu Lianfeng had a faint smile on his face. It was very good looking. It had to be said that this man's appearance was really a bit heaven-defying. No wonder his cousin kept pestering him. Is that so? You like children that much? Zhao Yun'er held her face and stared at Mu Lianfeng as she joked. Of course, Mu Lianfeng replied without hesitation. Then, as if he thought of something, he looked up at Zhao Yun'er and said to Zhao Yun'er, Yun'er, if the two of us can live here in the future, you can give me a few more children. I will take care of them in the future. It will be very lively with a few more children. Hearing Mu Lianfeng's tone, it seemed that he was looking forward to it. Zhao Yun'er's cheeks reddened slightly. Then, she glared at Mu Lianfeng and said to Mu Lianfeng, Who wants to have a few more children with you? Zhao Yun'er was influenced by the 21st century's eugenics and felt that she couldn't have too many children. Adults' energy was always limited. If she had so many children, how could she take care of them all? Moreover, it was impossible for anyone to say that they were not biased when it came to children. Zhao Yun'er thought about how cute Daodu and Tian were. If she shared her love with another child, would the two children be sad? In this lifetime, she and Mu Lianfeng might have another child. 3 children was enough. Of course, he also had his own selfish reasons for wanting another Zhao Yun'er. In the end, Daodu was only the child of the original owner and Mu Lianfeng. He had nothing to do with her. Daodu was already 3 years old when she transmigrated to this world. She had never experienced what it was like to be a freak in October, nor did she know the pain of giving birth to a child. She would only know if she personally gave birth to a child. Therefore, when she got together with Mu Lianfeng, she wanted to give birth to a child for the man she loved. She only wanted one child. In this life, at least she and Mu Lianfeng had a crystallization of their love. Yun'er, I like children. I like our children even more. If we give birth to a few more, no matter if they look like you or me, the children will definitely be very cute. Mu Lianfeng said with a smile. Zhao Yun'er was silent for a moment. Then she stared at Mu Lianfeng and asked, But it's easy for women to gain weight and become ugly after giving birth. They also age quickly. After all, giving birth to a child is a very damaging thing. If I give birth to a few more children and become old and ugly, will you fall in love with someone else? After all, as the heir, you have a lot of beauties by your side. When the time comes, you might dislike me for being old and unattractive. Before Zhao Yun'er could finish speaking, Mu Lianfeng immediately stopped Zhao Yun'er with a sullen face. Chapter 2049. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but smile when she heard Mu Lianfeng's serious words. She had only said it casually, but Mu Lianfeng seemed to take it very seriously. Mu Lianfeng reached out and pulled Zhao Yun'er back. Yun'er, you know that I don't love you because of your looks. I've never taken a second look at those beauties. If I cared about a person's appearance, perhaps I wouldn't insist on being with you. As for what you said about having children being harmful to the body, I never knew. If that's the case, Yun'er, We already have Daodu and Tian Tian, so there's no need for us to have another child. I can't bear for you to suffer." Mu Lianfeng's words were somewhat affectionate, and Zhao Yin'er was even more touched. In ancient times, it was important to have a prosperous family. If one could afford to raise a family, they would be eager to have more children. Especially for someone of Mu Lianfeng's status. He would basically marry several concubines and go home to have more children. In this era, Mu Lianfeng could have such thoughts, which at least meant that in his heart, he loved Zhao Yin'er more than he loved children. Wasn't it a kind of happiness for a woman to be able to find such a man? After Mu Lianfeng finished speaking, a burst of laughter sounded behind the two of them. It was Mulan. Mulan walked forward and teased, "Lord Heir, the words between you and Yin'er are so touching. Even I, as a bystander, am envious of Yin'er." Then she looked at Zhao Yin'er. "Yin'er, you're so lucky. My man is very dull, and his words are not half as nice as Lord Heir's." Zhao Yin'er did not expect that the words of love between the two people would be heard by Mulan. She felt very embarrassed. It was as if her intimacy with Mu Lianfeng had been discovered. "Why don't you call brother Heir Hu over, and let my family's heir teach him a lesson?" Zhao Yin'er also replied jokingly. Mulan hurriedly waved her hand and said, "Forget it. My family's heir is too slow. He's not even half as good as Lord Shitzi. Even if Lord Shitzi teaches him step by step, he definitely won't be able to learn." Since that was the case, there was no need to waste any more time. "Sigh, maybe my life is just like that. I can't compare to you, Yin'er." The corner of Zhao Yin'er's mouth twitched, and she replied weakly, "Sister-in-law Mulan, I couldn't tell that you're also someone who likes to sweet talk. I don't think sweet nothings are practical. As long as Brother Eru treats you well, it's fine. Brother Eru is a practical person. Living with this kind of person will be more practical." Mulan covered her mouth and laughed. "Yin'er, I know. I was just joking, but you're getting serious with me." After Mulan finished laughing, she said to Zhao Yin'er, "Yin'er, I asked you to come over today for something. You said yesterday that you were going to the mountains. Are you still going today? My family's children are clamoring for good food every day. Let them have a taste of those wild mushrooms that you mentioned, and have a change of taste. There are some wild fruits in the mountains during this season. Pick some for them while you're at it." Zhao Yin'er nodded in response. I'm going. I'll go in the afternoon." "All right, then I'll come over to look for you in the afternoon." "All right, do you still have eggs at home? Lend me a few. I want to cook some rice for them in the afternoon. I don't know what's wrong with my chickens. They haven't laid eggs these few days. Of course, I don't have many chickens at home. I'll go to town to buy some more later." Chapter 2050. In the past, before they separated from the main family, she didn't have the right to control everything at home. In addition, her family was poor, so she naturally didn't give her children much to eat. Now that her family was richer, she naturally couldn't let her children suffer. Zhao Yin'er hurriedly responded, "Yes, I do. Sister-in-law Mulan, I'll go get it for you now." With that, Zhao Yin'er went to the kitchen. She was afraid that Mulan's family didn't have enough to eat, so she directly took 20 eggs and handed them to Mulan. "Yin'er, why did you take so many eggs? 5 or 6 eggs are enough. Isn't 20 a little too much? The eggs won't go bad if you take them back. If you can't eat them all at once, you can eat them a few times. I don't lack eggs at home, so don't be polite. Take them back and eat them." Mulan didn't refuse and took them. "Okay, I'll return them to you when I have more." "And okay. Then Yin'er, I'll go back first. I'll come back to find you later." "Okay." Zhao Yin'er responded with a smile. It was almost noon, and the sun was getting hotter. Zhao Yin'er guessed that the men who were busy in the field had probably finished drinking the water they brought. So she got some cold water from the kitchen, and prepared to give it to Zhao Wenhua and the others. Meanwhile, in the courtyard of old Zhao's house, Jinju had been busy all morning. Seeing that there was nothing else to do at home, she rested and faced the rest of old Zhao's family awkwardly. Feng Zhangxia saw that her second daughter-in-law was someone who couldn't stay idle. She probably had too much work on a daily basis, so she felt a little uncomfortable when she rested. Nowadays, there were a lot of housework at home. Cooking, washing dishes, washing clothes, cleaning the house. All of which fell on her head. The eldest daughter-in-law she married was a spoiled young lady. After marrying into old Zhao's family, how could she bear to let her do any work? Since she didn't let her, Shen Pan, or didn't take the initiative, and never reached out to help with any chores. Last night, she had no choice but to ask Shen Pan for help. Who knew that while she was busy, Shen Pan would throw a tantrum again. She looked unwilling and didn't feel sorry for her mother-in-law at all. Seeing Jin Ju snatching everything from her, Feng Zhangxia felt that although this second daughter-in-law's family background was not as good as her first daughter-in-law's, her character was much better than her first daughter-in-law's. His love for Jin Ju grew even more. Little Ju, now that there's nothing to do, go sit down on the stool and rest. You must be tired after doing so much work. Feng Zhangxia greeted Jin Ju. Jin Ju wiped the beads of sweat on her forehead and grinned. She replied, "Mother, I'm not tired." Even if you're not tired, you have to sit down and rest. You're not made of iron. If you're working, you have to rest. You can't be busy all the time. Jin Ju furrowed her brows. At this time, Shen Pan also called out to Jin Ju. "Second sister-in-law, listen to mother. Come sit next to me and rest. There's only so much work at home. It's not too late to work slowly. There's no need to finish it all at once." Shen Pan felt that it was very awkward for her to sit while Jin Ju was busy. Moreover, compared to Jin Ju, she knew that she was a lazy daughter-in-law, so she felt uncomfortable. Jin Ju was too embarrassed to refuse, so she responded and looked at Shen Pan. The two of them sat down not far away. Shen Pan was playing with Zhao Yangyang. Both mother and son had smiles on their faces. Jin Ju couldn't help but look at Shen Pan and then at Zhao Yangyang. She saw that Shen Pan and Zhao Yangyang were both dressed luxuriously and looked very good. Chapter 2051. Moreover, Shen Pan was wearing some jewelry, gold and silver. Her entire person was beautiful and gave off an air of elegance. She was far from being able to match up to the things that young ladies of noble families had cultivated since they were young. Facing Shen Pan, Jin Ju felt a bit envious. At the same time, she felt ashamed to be sisters-in-law with such a person. Country people love to compare themselves, so there were probably quite a few people who would compare her to Shen Pan. If she really compared herself, it was obvious that she wasn't just a little bit inferior to Shen Pan. As Feng Zhangxia's wife, her mother-in-law would definitely like Shen Pan a bit more. Thinking of this, Jin Ju felt a bit of bitterness in her heart. At this time, Zhao Yangyang pulled on Shen Pan's hand and said in a soft voice, "Mother, Yangyang wants to eat mung bean cake. Can you go get some for Yangyang now? Didn't you just eat it this morning? Why do you want to eat it now? Moreover, it's almost time for lunch. If you eat it now, will you still be able to eat lunch later?" Shen Pan said softly. Zhao Yangyang continued to pull on Shen Pan's hand. "Mother, Yangyang just wants to eat it. Grandmother brought so much over, so that Yangyang can eat to his heart's content. Yangyang doesn't want to eat lunch. Lunch isn't half as good as mung bean cake." How could Shen Pan endure Zhao Yangyang's coquettishness? Before Zhao Yangyang could say much, Shen Pan immediately surrendered. She could only nod and agree. Okay. Mother will go get some for Yangyang now." And then, Zhao Yangyang's face immediately filled with smiles. Shen Pan got up and went into the room. She took out a cake box, and inside it was the mung bean cake that the Chen couple had brought over. "Here, eat." Shen Pan looked at Zhao Yangyang dotingly and handed the mung bean cake to him. Zhao Yangyang's lips curled into a brilliant smile. He immediately grabbed 2 pieces and stuffed them into his mouth. He was very satisfied. Children were like this. They liked to eat messy things, but didn't want to eat. Of course, Shen Pan also knew that old Zhao's family's food was very poor. They rarely ate meat, and there wasn't much oil in their dishes. Compared to the Shen family, it was like heaven and earth. Zhao Yangyang had eaten the Shen family's food before, so he was not very willing to eat when he was at old Zhao's house. He liked to complain all day long that he wanted to eat his grandparents' food. Unfortunately, as the daughter-in-law of old Zhao's family, It was fine for her to occasionally return to her parents' home for a while. If she stayed there all the time, it would cause dissatisfaction from her in-laws' family, and she would also be criticized by her relatives. After all, a married daughter would be thrown away. Zhao Tianlong was not marrying into the Shen family. According to the rules, a daughter-in-law should stay with her in-laws. Shen Pan-er was about to eat a few pieces herself when she saw Jin Ju on the side. Feeling a little embarrassed, she handed the box of cakes to Jin Ju and said, "Second sister-in-law, this is mung bean cake. You probably haven't eaten it before, right? Do you want to try it? This thing was quite expensive, and a box costs 1 tael of silver. Most people would not be willing to eat it. This time, my parents specially brought some over for Yang Yang to eat. This child is gluttonous and likes to eat these things." On the surface, Shen Pan-er was inviting Jin Ju to eat, but the meaning behind her words made people uncomfortable. Chapter 2052. This amount of money was enough to buy a chicken back. A chicken could eat a good meal, but this pastry could go into the stomach in one bite. It wasn't worth it. Perhaps the actions of rich people were incomprehensible to them, or perhaps they had too much money in their hands and didn't care about a few taels of silver. Facing the pastry that Shen Pan-er handed over, Jin Ju hurriedly waved her hand and refused. "No, eldest sister-in-law. It's better to leave such expensive things for you and nephew. I don't need them." Shen Pan-er still pretended to be polite. "It's fine, second sister-in-law. It's fine to try one piece. Eat it and tell me if it tastes good." As soon as Shen Pan-er finished speaking, Zhao Yangyang moved in front of Shen Pan-er and pouted. He said to Fatty Shen somewhat reluctantly, "Mother, these pastries are for Yangyang to eat. How can you give them to others? Mother, Yangyang isn't happy." Shen Pan-er smiled awkwardly at Zhao Yangyang, then lectured him. "All right, Yangyang, isn't there still a lot? What's wrong with just giving one piece to your second aunt to try? As a person, you can't be too selfish and willful." Zhao Yangyang's face was full of displeasure. No, Yangyang only wants it for himself. I won't give it to anyone else." Shen Pan-er sighed and pretended to be helpless. She then said to Jin Ju apologetically, "Second sister-in-law, I'm really sorry. Our first branch only raised one grandson, and we usually spoiled him too much. We let him do whatever he wants and he always takes the food. No one can say anything about it." How could Jin Ju blame her? She hurriedly waved her hand and replied, "It's fine, eldest sister-in-law. Just let nephew eat it. It doesn't matter if I eat it or not." I'm really sorry." Jin Ju smiled. "Eldest sister-in-law, I appreciate your kindness. It doesn't matter if I eat it or not. It's great to have a sister-in-law like you." Her mother-in-law treated her well, and her eldest sister-in-law seemed to be a good person. Therefore Jin Ju felt very gratified. Shen Pan-er smiled embarrassedly. When she heard Jin Ju's words, she inexplicably felt a little guilty. "Since that's the case, I won't force you to eat it. And, eldest sister-in-law, you guys eat." The corners of Shen Pan-er's mouth twitched as she picked up a pastry and ate it with Zhao Yangyang. Seeing the mother and son eating happily, she felt awkward as an outsider sitting next to them. Moreover, even though she said that she didn't want to eat, she still had some thoughts in her heart. After all, such an expensive thing looked good and should be very delicious. Jin Ju gulped, then got up and said to Feng Zhangxia, "Mother, why isn't Tianhu back yet? He's probably busy. I saw him in your third uncle's field when I was washing clothes. Mother, why don't I deliver some saliva to Tianhu? He should be thirsty on such a hot day," Jin Ju suggested. She thought of an excuse to bring water to Zhao Tianhu, so that she wouldn't have to stay in old Zhao's courtyard and stare at her mother-in-law and sisters-in-law, which would make things very awkward. Feng Zhangxia thought for a moment. On such a hot day, she really needed to get some water. "Second daughter-in-law, you just married into the family, so you don't know how to send them off? Let mother do it." "Mother, just tell me how to get there and I'll know. You can rest at home. That's fine too. It's easy to recognize the road. Go out of the courtyard and walk straight to the right. When you reach the river, your third uncle's field is not far away. You'll be able to see it when you get there. Chapter 2053. Following Feng Zhengxie's directions, Jinju saw Zhao Tianhu, who was busy working in the field. She then rushed towards Zhao Tianhu's direction. Husband, Jinju called out shyly from a short distance away. Zhao Tianhu thought that he was hallucinating at first, so he didn't pay much attention. It wasn't until Jinju called him a second time that Zhao Tianhu turned around and looked at Jinju. Wife, why are you here? A girl running out on such a hot day. Aren't you afraid of getting tanned? Girls are more beautiful when they are white and tender. You should go back and rest. Zhao Tianhu said with concern. Hearing Zhao Tianhu's words, Jinju felt a touch of sweetness in her heart. She didn't expect Zhao Tianhu to be so concerned about her. He was even afraid that she would get tanned. She didn't think much of it, but Zhao Tianhu didn't think about it, so Jinju was somewhat touched. Husband, I'm here to give you some water, Jinju said as she smiled and waved the water bottle in her hand. Zhao Tianhu was stunned. Then the corner of his mouth raised into a sweet smile. It turned out that his wife was worried that he was thirsty, so she brought him water. This feeling of being loved and cared for by his wife was really good. Unlike before, when he was single, he didn't envy others for nothing. Hee, Zhao Tianhu laughed foolishly. He didn't know what to say, so he just stood there and laughed. Tianhu, it seems that second niece-in-law treats you well. She loves you very much. Zhao Wentao stood at the side and said jokingly. Zhao Tianhu was originally a thin-skinned person. When Zhao Wentao said that, he lowered his head and muttered, Fourth uncle, why are you laughing at me? I'm not laughing at you. I'm just telling the truth. You little brat, fortune favors fools. You came back with such a good wife. Fourth uncle. Alright, you're a big man. Why are you still shy? Things are different now. Now that you have a wife, you have to be more open. Don't be timid. Zhao Wentao instructed. Zhao Tianhu was silent for a moment before replying. Fourth uncle, I understand. I'll be more careful in the future. Jinju then called the other men over to drink water. At this moment, the sun was scorching, and all of them were soaked in sweat. How could they not drink more water to replenish their water content? Jinju poured a cup of water and handed it to each of them. After drinking a cup of water, the three men immediately felt refreshed and comfortable. Juer, thank you. You're the best. Zhao Tianhu grinned at Jinju. Although he was very tired and hot right now, his face was filled with a happy smile. Jinju replied shyly. Husband, I have nothing to do anyway. It's not tiring to bring you a cup of water. I just don't want you to come out and bask in the sun. Zhao Tianhu replied with a silly smile. Thus, when Zhao Yin'er was busy delivering water, she saw Jinju who had already delivered the water. Zhao Yin'er couldn't help but tease. Sigh, if I knew that second cousin-in-law was coming, I wouldn't have made a special trip. That's right. Yin'er girl, you came for nothing. In the future, there will be a niece-in-law in the family. Like you, she's a caring person. Zhao Wentao followed behind and added a sentence. That's right. You don't need me anymore. Sigh, forget it. Then I'll go back. I won't bring you water in the future. Chapter 2054. The reason she rushed out to deliver water was to avoid the awkwardness of staying with old Zhao's family. If she went back now, what was the point of coming out? When Zhao Tianhu asked her to go back, Jinju shook her head. No, I still want to stay here with you. Zhao Tianhu frowned. But Juer, it's too hot here. Don't you feel uncomfortable under the sun? Jinju shook her head. It's not that bad at home. I'm not that delicate. Juer. Zhao Tianhu wanted to continue persuading her. After all, staying at home was definitely more comfortable than being outside in the sun. To him, the thing he couldn't bear to see the most was his wife suffering. Zhao Yin'er patted Zhao Tianhu's shoulder and lectured Zhao Tianhu. Second cousin, can't you tell? Second cousin-in-law just wants to stay with you. That's why the two of you got married. It's good for you to stick together all the time. Zhao Tianhu was stunned. He didn't think about it that way. He just felt sorry for Jinju. Juer, if you want to be with me and aren't afraid of the sun, then let's stay together. Zhao Tianhu said to Jinju after hesitating for a moment. Jinju lowered her head and answered shyly. Okay. Then I'll go first. Zhao Yin'er got up and said. With the scorching sun above his head, he felt a little uncomfortable. Perhaps she hadn't suffered much, and was a little delicate. After lunch, Zhao Yin'er carried the basket on her back, and called Mulan to go up the mountain together. Although it was the hottest day, and it was very hot, the forest on the mountain was very cool because of the lush trees. It was as if they were in an air-conditioned room in the 21st century. If it weren't for the mosquitoes and wild animals on the mountain that could cause danger, it would definitely be very comfortable and cool to sleep on a bed here in the middle of the night. As the two of them walked, they searched for wild mushrooms on the ground. It was probably because it hadn't rained for a long time, so there weren't many wild fungi on the ground. The two of them picked for quite a while, and collected half a basket of wild mushrooms. Even so, these wild mushrooms were enough to last for a few days. Zhao Yin'er and Mulan were satisfied, and decided to find something else. They found a lot of wild fruits on the mountain. They tasted sweet, and were not worse than the fruits they grew at home. If they brought these back, the children would probably like them the most. The two people's luck was not bad. After walking for a while, they came across two wild rabbits. They looked very plump, weighing a few kilograms. They could be cooked in a pot. There were two of them, one for each family. Tonight, they would be able to enjoy a delicious meal. Yin'er, I think it's about time. We've gained a lot this time. Shall we go back now? Zhao Yin'er nodded and responded. She looked at the things in the basket and smiled with satisfaction. Just as the two of them were about to reach the foot of the mountain, Zhao Yin'er felt that something was wrong. She felt that someone was following behind her, but she didn't see anything when she turned around. Mulan asked with concern, Yin'er, what's wrong? Why are you so suspicious? Did something happen? I just feel like someone is following us. Zhao Yin'er muttered. Is that so? Mulan looked around. Nothing. I don't see anyone. Chapter 2055. Yes, it must be. Yin'er, don't think about it. Let's go down the mountain quickly. Mulan called out. Okay. Zhao Yin'er nodded. She shook her head, thinking that she might have been too busy and confused. However, just as Zhao Yin'er and Mulan continued to go down the mountain, in a bush, a rough man in gray said to another man in black, Boss, it seems to be this woman. We finally waited for her to come down the mountain. Do you want to make a move now? There's a woman next to him. She seems to be in the way. Are you sure it's this woman? The man in black asked. The man in gray nodded heavily. Boss, I'm sure it's her. We followed her all the way from her house, but we didn't have a chance to make a move. Now that we're here, we have a chance. If we don't make a move now, it won't be so easy when they enter the village. The man in black was silent for a moment and said, Okay then, let's make a move. The sooner we finish the job, the sooner we can get the remaining half of the money. Since they've spent such a high price, we naturally have to do our job well and satisfy our employer. Okay, boss, let's go then. Okay. As the two men spoke, they came out of the bush together and ran quickly towards Zhao Yin'er and Mulan. These two men had undergone professional training, so they were very skilled. When they made a move, they were very fast and neat. Before Zhao Yin'er and Mulan could react, the two men had already flashed behind them. Zhao Yin'er and Mulan both exclaimed. Sure enough, she didn't sense it wrongly. There really were people following behind her. Obviously, these two people didn't come with good intentions. They didn't know what they were planning. What do you want to do? Zhao Yin'er coldly scolded. Take you to a place. The man in black said in a deep voice. Zhao Yin'er wanted to resist, but before she could fight with the two men, they had already grabbed her arms, and she couldn't move at all. Mulan was pushed by the gray-clothed man, and fell heavily to the ground. Mulan screamed in pain, but after seeing the situation, she anxiously got up from the ground and rushed to the two men. What do you want? Why did he want to capture Yin'er? Hurry up and release Yin'er. Let Yin'er go, do you hear me? Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. However, Mulan was a weak woman. Her threat was nothing to the two men, so they ignored her. Mulan immediately panicked. She was afraid that Zhao Yuner would be hurt, so she shouted, "What are you trying to do? Let go of Yuner quickly. I'm going to fight it out with you." With that, Mulan rushed over. However, before she could get close to the two men, she was kicked heavily, and then fell to the ground. Mulan was in great pain from the kick. She felt her vision turn black, and a layer of cold sweat appeared on her forehead. She sat on the ground and covered her stomach. The gray-clothed man spat on the ground and cursed. "Bitch, don't overestimate yourself." Zhao Yuner looked at Mulan worriedly. "Sister-in-law Mulan, are you okay?" "Yuner, I'm fine." Mulan gritted her teeth. Because she was worried about Zhao Yuner, she pretended to get up from the ground. Zhao Yuner hurriedly dissuaded her. "Sister-in-law Mulan, don't worry about me. Take care of yourself first. If you go on like this, you will die." Yuner. Chapter 2056. The gray-robed man scolded impatiently. Then he turned to the black-robed man and said, "Big brother, let's go now? Since we've already caught this person, let's bring her back." The black-robed man narrowed his eyes, then nodded in response. Let's go." "You. Why did you catch Yuner?" Seeing that the two men were about to drag Zhao Yuner away, Mulan immediately became anxious. If they were in the village, it would be fine. Once she shouted, at least someone would stick their head out to take a look. With the help of the villagers, it would be much easier to capture Zhao Yuner. But now that they were on the mountain, no one would hear her even if she screamed until she broke her throat. Naturally, no one would come to save Zhao Yuner. When Mulan shouted, the black-robed man frowned and looked sharply at Mulan. "This woman can't be left alive, or else the two of us will be exposed. Second brother, hurry up and kill him." Zhao Yuner's heart trembled. What were these people trying to do? Were they planning to kill Mulan? If Mulan died, she would die of guilt. Mulan had several children at home. If he died, what would happen to the 3 children? Mulan also seemed to be frightened. But when she heard the black-robed man say that he wanted to kill her, it meant that he was also very serious about hurting Zhao Yuner. Mulan couldn't help but worry about Zhao Yun. "Don't act recklessly. Since the person you want to catch is me, then don't hurt the innocent. I'll cooperate with you and go with you. She won't tell anyone. I beg you to let her go," Zhao Yuner said to the black-robed man. Now that the two of them were in danger, she naturally wanted to save as many as possible. As long as they didn't do anything to her now, she would have a chance to save herself. What she needed to do now was to delay the two men and not let them hurt Mulan. The gray-robed man was obviously soft-hearted. He said to the black-robed man, "Big brother, I think we should forget about it. Knocking her out now won't get in our way. We're just looking for money. We don't want to kill her. If she really dies and gets involved in a lawsuit, it'll be troublesome." The black-robed man thought for a moment, then said in a low voice, "All right then, knock her out." "Yes." The man in gray quickly nodded and walked towards Mulan. He knocked the back of Mulan's neck and she fainted. Zhao Yuner's heart was relieved. As long as these people let Mulan go. As for her, she would think of a way. In order to prevent Zhao Yuner from struggling, the gray-robed man and the black-robed man took out a hemp rope to tie Zhao Yuner's hands and feet. They even took out a piece of cloth and stuffed it into Zhao Yuner's mouth, afraid that Zhao Yuner would make any noise. Then they carried Zhao Yuner into the hemp sack and walked down the mountain. Not far from the foot of the mountain, they had specially prepared an ox cart with some other goods piled in hemp sacks. After they put Zhao Yuner inside, it would be hidden. The black-robed man said, "When we reach Sun City later, I'll make a trip to the heir presumptive's residence and inform Miss Morong. Bring her to the place that Miss Morong has arranged. Do you understand?" The gray-robed man nodded heavily. "Got it, big brother. I'll take care of this small matter." The black-robed man responded. The ox cart swayed as it headed in the direction of Sun City. At this moment, Zhao Yuner, who was placed in the ox cart, heard the two men's conversation and couldn't help but frown. The Miss Morong from the heir presumptive's residence that they were talking about should be Morong Shuang, right? Chapter 2057. She just didn't know what Morong Shuang was plotting against her this time. Knowing Morong Shuang's personality, she might even do something that would harm her life. Zhao Yin'er couldn't help but worry. She was caught and Mulan was on the mountain. She was afraid that no one would be able to find her immediately, let alone rush over to save her. Now that she was in danger at any time, it would be very difficult for her to save herself. Along the way, Zhao Yin'er lay on the horse carriage, thinking about what to do. They finally arrived at Yang City. The man in black went to the crown prince's mansion, while Zhao Yin'er was taken to another place by the ox cart. When the ox cart passed by the street, Zhao Yin'er felt the noise around her. There was a chance if there was someone. Zhao Yin'er deliberately moved a little. Since she was tied up, she couldn't struggle much, and there was something else on her body, so no one noticed her movements. Her mouth was also gagged. Although she could make whimpering sounds, in the bustling street, the little noise she made was quickly drowned out by the noise around her. Finally, they didn't know where the ox cart stopped, and Zhao Yin'er was carried down from the ox cart by the gray-robed man. "Miss, don't think about escaping. Not many people have escaped from our hands. I think you'd better be good and wait for the employer to come." The man in gray nagged. Zhao Yin'er felt that the man in gray didn't speak very fiercely, and didn't seem like a bad person. If he hadn't helped her say a few words today, she was afraid that the man in black would have really taken Mulan's life. Zhao Yin'er didn't make a sound. Of course, her mouth was gagged and she couldn't respond. Zhao Yin'er was thrown on the ground. She didn't know how long she lay there, but she finally heard the footsteps of a few people. The man in black was among them. A familiar voice entered Zhao Yin'er's ears. "Where is she?" It was Morong Shuang. It really was that woman. Although she already knew in advance, Zhao Yin'er still felt that something was different when she heard her voice at this moment. "Here, here." The man in black quickly responded, then asked someone to open the sack. Zhao Yin'er then saw the light. She was now in a small dilapidated house, cooped up in the sack for a long time. Once she saw light, it was very dazzling. Zhao Yin'er's eyes narrowed. Then she saw Morong Shuang standing in front of her. After Morong Shuang confirmed that it was Zhao Yin'er, the corners of her mouth curled into a sneer. Her sharp eyes fell on Zhao Yin'er. It was all because of this woman. If it weren't for her, her cousin wouldn't have looked at her, and wouldn't have refused to marry her. Other than this woman, she had a chance to be with Mu Lianfeng. No matter what she did to Zhao Yin'er, there was a reason, so Zhao Yin'er couldn't blame her. She couldn't blame her for being cruel and merciless. "Take the thing out of her mouth," Morong Shuang ordered the man in black. "Okay." Zhao Yin'er finally spat out the cloth in her mouth. After a few violent coughs, Zhao Yin'er asked Morong Shuang, "Why did you bring me here?" Morong Shuang grinned. "Actually, it's nothing. I just wanted to teach you a lesson. My cousin is bewitched by you. You have some tricks up your sleeve, woman." Chapter 2058. Zhao Yin'er furrowed her brows, sensing a hint of danger. She asked coldly, "What do you want?" Morong Shuang took a few steps forward, and stopped in front of Zhao Yin'er. She squatted down and chuckled. "You're still talking to me with this kind of tone at this time. You really don't want to live anymore. But since you don't want to live anymore, it doesn't matter. I don't plan to let you go easily anyway." As Morong Shuang spoke, she patted Zhao Yin'er's face a few times and muttered a few words. "I don't know what's so good about your plain face. How can it be half as good as mine? My cousin must have a problem with his eyes to fall for a woman like you. But he must have his reasons for liking you. In my opinion, you must be a whore. You're good at that kind of thing, right? If you serve a man well, he'll naturally be obedient to you." Zhao Yin'er's face sank. This Morong Shuang was a lady from a respectable family. She had no sense of shame when she said such words. She really had to give it to her. "I'm not as dirty as you think. You're an unmarried lady. Don't you know how to be shy when you say such words?" Zhao Yin'er replied in a low voice. "Why should I be shy? You should be the one who should be shy. I'm just saying it. But you've done it yourself. Compared to you, I'm not even half as good as you." Morong Shuang replied. "You?" Zhao Yin'er really didn't know what to say to Morong Shuang. Some people had a dark heart, and thought they were infallible. Morong Shuang laughed. She looked at Zhao Yin, as if she wanted to eat her up. She really hated her too much. Ever since she was a child, she had been pampered. What could she not get? Everything she had experienced was good. For her, the only thing she couldn't get was Mu Lianfeng. If she had lost to other women, it would have been fine. But she had lost to an ordinary woman like Zhao Yin. Because of this, she was even more unreconciled. Zhao Yin, as long as I destroy you it will be fine. Since my cousin likes your skills in bed, then I'll let someone defile you. I'd like to see if my cousin still wants you after you've been done by another man. Zhao Yin felt that Morong Shuang was a little sick. She was so angry that her body trembled. If she allowed another man to defile her, wouldn't that mean that she would have sex with another man? Zhao Yin really couldn't accept it. If she was a woman, she probably wouldn't even know that her body was dirty. She might as well die. Morong Shuang had actually thought of this to deal with her. It seemed that this woman would not be satisfied until she was ruined. But at this time, in this dilapidated place, who could she count on to save her? In such a short period of time, Mu Yinfeng probably did not even realize that something had happened to her, let alone come to her rescue. If she waited for Mulan to wake up and report that Mu Yinfeng really came to look for her, it would be too late by the time he found her. After her body was defiled, would there still be anyone to keep her? If Mu Lianfeng doesn't like you, then he doesn't like you. Do you think he'll want you without me? Stop dreaming. Zhao Yin scolded angrily. Morong Shuang didn't care. I don't know whether it's true or not. Anyway, destroying you first is definitely the right thing to do. Zhao Yin, just you wait. Ha ha. After Morong Shuang laughed proudly, she said to the servant girl beside her, Come. Give her that bowl of medicine. Chapter 2059. Yes, my lady. The woman's eyes also revealed a hint of viciousness. This country bumpkin wants to compete with my lady for a man. She really doesn't know her own limits. My lady is treating her like this now. She asked for it. When she arrived in front of Zhao Yin, the maid squatted down and pinched Zhao Yin's mouth. She then poured the entire bowl of medicine into Zhao Yin's mouth. The bowl of thick soup was very bitter. Zhao Yin wanted to struggle, but her hands and feet were tightly bound. How could she exert any strength? After drinking the entire bowl of medicine, Zhao Yin could not help but cough a few times. She wanted to vomit and spit out all the bitterness in her mouth. My lady, the procuress of Hua Man Lu said that this bowl of medicine will take effect very soon. The maid stood up and said to Morong Shuang, who was beside her. Morong Shuang responded with a sound of acknowledgement, and a satisfied smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. She looked at Zhao Yin on the ground as if she could already see Zhao Yin's tragic future. Call him in. Morong Shuang ordered again. Yes, my lady. As she spoke, the maid walked a few steps to the door of the house and called in a few men. These men were all covered in dirt and were dressed like beggars. It was very disgusting to look at. Morong Shuang squatted down and smiled at Zhao Yin. Wait for the medicine to take effect in your body. Then enjoy these men, haha. Zhao Yin immediately understood Morong Shuang's meaning. She had just given her an aphrodisiac. Once the medicine took effect, she would not be able to control herself and throw herself at these men. It was undeniable that Morong Shuang's sinister methods were really frightening. Aren't you afraid that your cousin will find out? He won't let you off. Zhao Yin said angrily. Morong Shuang shrugged. What evidence do you have to say that I did it? Zhao Yin, it's not easy to pin the blame on me. I hope you'll be clear about this. Don't make slanderous accusations. Morong Shuang's intention was to never admit it. Indeed, as she said, without any evidence, how could she pin the blame on her? When the time comes, she could only rely on Mu Lianfeng's trust. Even so, without evidence, it would not be easy for Mu Lianfeng to blame Zhao Yin. Miss, don't be long-winded with her. Let's go out and watch the show. The maid at the side reminded. The smile on Morong Shuang's face disappeared as she nodded and replied. All right. Before Morong Shuang left the house, she called out to the beggars. Serve me well. Zhao Yin's body slowly warmed up. Hua Manla's aphrodisiac really took effect. The desire in her heart grew stronger. Zhao Yun'er tried her best to control herself and keep herself awake. However, she could hold on for a while. The eyes of these beggars, who had not seen a woman for a long time, were already shining when they saw a delicate woman like Zhao Yun'er. They could not wait to pounce on her. These people slowly approached Zhao Yun'er and began to untie the ropes on Zhao Yun'er's body. Zhao Yun'er felt her body loosen, and she gained a moment of freedom. The wolf-like beggars wiped the saliva from the corners of their mouths and smiled wretchedly. "Little lady, don't be afraid. We'll serve you well and make sure you're comfortable." "Yes, yes, little beauty. Serve us well, and we'll make sure you're satisfied." Chapter 2060. Now that she was no longer bound by ropes, she could more or less evade them. However, her body was very hot and her head was dizzy. She could not muster much strength. His resistance was only temporary. It wasn't difficult for him to escape with his body in this state. Murong Shuang, the man in black, and the man in gray were standing guard outside the door to ensure that there were no accidents. Zhao Yun'er's brows were tightly knitted together. Her eyes became gloomy as she stared at the beggars who were approaching. "Little lady, you have some skills. What are you hiding for? You can't escape from our palms anyway. Why don't you submit to us and we can have fun together?" "Little lady, there are still people outside. You can hide for now, but you can't hide forever. Why don't you submit to us? We can be gentler to you and be more careful. It won't hurt too much." The beggars stepped forward and forced Zhao Yun'er into a corner. Zhao Yun'er coldly scolded, "Get out of here. If you know what's good for you, get out of here." As soon as Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, a beggar's hand landed on her shoulder and gave her a heavy tug. Zhao Yun'er staggered and fell to the ground. The beggars took advantage of the situation and wanted to take off her clothes. Zhao Yun'er fell to the ground. Her body was very soft, and she could not muster any strength. Just as she was about to lose all hope, she suddenly heard the door being kicked open with a bang. Then, the man in black and the man in gray were kicked to the ground. As for Murong Shuang, she was also pushed to the ground. "My lady, are you all right? My lady?" Murong Shuang's maid quickly rushed to Murong Shuang and asked with concern. Zhao Yun'er also looked towards the door, and a ray of hope ignited in her heart. She thought that Mu Lianfeng had come to save her. When she looked up, she saw that the person standing at the door was actually Yi Li, whom she had not seen for a long time. Zhao Yun'er was slightly stunned. Why was he here? Didn't he leave for a long time? Why was he back in one piece? She actually ran over to save her? While Zhao Yun'er was puzzled, Yi Li shouted at the beggars with a cold face, "Let her go, don't touch her." The beggars were also slightly stunned by the sudden change in the situation. Faced with Yi Li's somewhat infatuated gaze, they all trembled in fear. With just one look, they knew that the man in front of them was not to be trifled with. His kung fu was extraordinary. If they disobeyed him, they would only suffer. Who is this person? He doesn't look easy to deal with. That's right. His kung fu is so high. We definitely can't deal with him. Let's run away quickly. Go, go, go. Let's hurry up and run. Life is more important. Money and women are useless when you're dead. That's right, that's right. Several beggars whispered a few words to each other and quickly dispersed from Zhao Yun'er's side. Yi Li quickly rushed in front of Zhao Yun'er and asked with concern, "Miss Yun'er, how are you? Are you all right?" After confirming that Zhao Yun'er's clothes were still intact and that they had not been stripped off, Yi Li heaved a heavy sigh of relief. However, when he saw Zhao Yun'er's flushed face and how it burned with just a touch, Yi Li could not help but frown again. He started to worry about Zhao Yun'er. What did you guys do to her? Yi Li's sharp gaze shot towards Murong Shuang, the man in gray and the man in black. Chapter 2061. After exchanging blows with Yi Li earlier, the men in black and gray knew that Yi Li's skills were out of the ordinary. If they continued to fight, they would only lose their lives. In the end, it was money and not life. Not to mention that they might not even be able to protect their own lives. What was the point of earning that little bit of money? The black-clothed man and the gray-clothed man hurriedly shirked their responsibility. Hero, this has nothing to do with us. It was Miss Morong who did it. Everything was done by her. We only listened to her orders and took the money to do it. She gave this girl an aphrodisiac just now. I think it's taking effect now. But we didn't do anything to her. Great hero. Every injustice has its perpetrator, and every debt has its debtor. If you want to pursue the matter, go to Miss Morong. Let us go, I beg you. When Yili heard that Morong Shuang had given Zhao Yuner an aphrodisiac, and arranged for so many beggars to come and defile Zhao Yuner, his eyes revealed a hint of hatred. This woman's methods were too vicious. Other injuries were fine, but this kind of injury was probably more serious than taking Zhao Yuner's life. Fortunately, he had discovered it in time and rushed over. Otherwise, Zhao Yuner would have been defiled by now. Just thinking about it made Yi Li's chest hurt. It was so uncomfortable that he couldn't speak. Now that Zhao Yuner had been given an aphrodisiac, and the effects of the aphrodisiac were taking effect, what should he do? What could he do to help Zhao Yuner? After the men in black and gray finished speaking, Yi Li stared at Morong Shuang. He saw that Morong Shuang had a devastatingly beautiful face, but her heart was more vicious than snakes and scorpions. Compared to Zhao Yuner, she was really 108,000 miles away, yet she still wanted to frame Zhao Yuner. Morong Shuang was a little scared by Yi Li's stare. She weakly replied, "Who are you? What do you want?" Morong Shuang did not expect that a man would suddenly run over to save Zhao Yuner. Moreover, he was so skilled that no one could beat him. "Who I am is not important. You'll know what I want in a moment." Yi Li replied coldly. She then turned to Zhao Yuner and asked gently, "Yuner, this woman treated you like this. She can't be forgiven. Tell me, how should we punish her?" At this time, Zhao Yuner's face was flushed red. Her body was very uncomfortable, and her divine sense had become a little confused. Facing Yi Li, especially that exquisite face of Yi Li, there seemed to be a voice in her heart telling her to pounce on this handsome man and eat him up. The moment her spiritual consciousness sobered up, Zhao Yuner once again suppressed this evil desire. She absolutely could not do this to Yi Li. More importantly, she could not make Mu Lianfeng a cuckold. Morong Shuang saw Yi Li and Zhao Yuner like this. She scolded sarcastically, "Zhao Yuner, you are really bitchy. Isn't it enough to have my cousin? You even seduced other men outside, and flirted with other men. A snake whose heart is not content will swallow an elephant. Zhao Yuner, I don't know when my cousin will see your face clearly. It's really disgusting." Yi Li looked at Morong Shuang unhappily. For the sake of Zhao Yuner's reputation, Yi Li sternly explained, "There is nothing between Yuner and me. Please don't slander her. You are already like this. How can you say there is nothing between you? You two bitches. I must tell my cousin. Zhao Yuner, you bitch." Chapter 2062. In addition to being vicious, this woman's mouth was equally vicious. How could anyone listen to what she said? From the looks of it, this kind of woman could not be let go. Although Zhao Yuner did not answer him how he should punish Morong Shuang, Yi Li already had an answer in his heart. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Since Morong Shuang could do this kind of thing, it was not impossible for him to take revenge on Zhao Yuner for this kind of thing. Yi Li stood up and looked at Morong Shuang condescendingly. The corner of his mouth hooked up into a cold arc. He said to Morong Shuang, "Which man would like a woman like you? You can't even compare to Yuner's finger. Since you hurt Yuner so much, I'll make you suffer." "You, what do you want?" Morong Shuang felt the danger emanating from Yi Li and asked worriedly. Yi Li did not answer Morong Shuang. Instead, he greeted the beggars on the side. "Do you want to live?" The beggars quickly nodded and responded, "Of course we want to live. Who doesn't want to live? Hero, this matter has nothing to do with us. Please let us go. We just received a little money. We were helping this lady. We really didn't want to hurt anyone. Hero, we're just a group of beggars. We're miserable enough. Please let us go. We won't dare to do it again." In the face of the beggars begging, Yi Li hooked up the corner of his mouth and ordered the beggars, "If you want me to let you go, it's easy. Just do something for me." The beggars said, "Hero, if there's anything you want us to do, just tell us. We'll do it if we can." "Yes, hero. We'll do as you say, as long as you spare our lives." Yili stared at Morong Shuang on the ground, then said to the beggars, "What did this woman ask you to do to Yuner? Now you're doing it to her." The beggars were stunned for a moment. After confirming it, they asked Hero, "Are you asking us to rape her?" Yili nodded. A few of the beggars began to worry. "Hero, this is the young miss of a high official's family. We are the lowest of beggars. How would we dare to touch her?" "Hero, why don't you change your conditions? We can't do it, and we don't dare to do it. Please don't make things difficult for us." In the end, the beggars were afraid of Morong Shuang's identity, because Morong Shuang was the daughter of a high-ranking official. In this day and age, the people that they could not afford to offend were officials. Yili sneered, "Since you're so afraid, then forget it. I won't force you. As for your lives, don't blame me for taking them." The beggars trembled in fear. Yili did not give them any leeway. If they didn't do it, they would die right now. What was the point of their worries? If he lost his life, there was no point in talking about anything else. "Hero, we'll do it, we'll do it. We'll do as you say, as long as you spare our lives." As they spoke, the beggars walked towards Morong Shuang's direction. Morong Shuang's pupils constricted for a moment. She never expected that Zhao Yuner, who was supposed to be the one to be raped, would be raped. Now she was the one being raped. Chapter 2063. Morong Shuang's voice was very cold. The beggars were frightened by Morong Shuang's aura. Morong Shuang said again, "Don't you know who I am? You dare to touch me, do you want to die? If you dirty my body today, don't even think about keeping your lives." Morong Shuang's threat scared the beggars so much that they did not dare to come forward. They knew that it was not easy to keep their lives after offending someone like Morong Shuang. Just as the beggars were in a dilemma, Yili's voice rang out again. "Do you want to die now or later? If you don't follow my orders, you will die right now. If you do, you will still have a chance to escape. As long as you hide far away, with how big the Great Zhou country is, even if she has any influence, it wouldn't be that easy to catch you, right?" After Yili's analysis, the beggars felt that it was indeed so. Whether they would live or not was a matter for the future. The most important thing now was to keep their lives. Even if they could live for a few more days, it would be good. "Hero, we will listen to you." Yes, we will listen to the hero's orders. If we keep our lives now, we will have a chance to live in the future. It is better than us dying here. Miss Morong, we're sorry. We had no choice but to act against you. Who doesn't want to live these days? You have to understand us." The beggars said. They did not care about anything else, and surrounded Morong Shuang. Then, the beggars' black claws began to undress Morong Shuang. Morong Shuang screamed a few times. Let me go. You stinky beggars, do you think you can touch me? Get lost. Take your dirty hands away. Woo, let me go." No matter how Morong Shuang screamed, or how she struggled, it was useless. In the hands of the beggars, she had no power to fight back. She could only let her clothes be taken off. "What are you doing? Let go of my young miss. You stinky beggars, aren't you too bold? You are dead for bullying my young miss." Morong Shuang's maid was so scared that her face turned ashen. She quickly stopped them. She knew that if anything happened to Morong Shuang, as her personal maid, she would be in trouble too. However, he and Morong Shuang were both women. Although these beggars were skinny, they were all men. It was easy for them to deal with two women. *TCH, don't get involved. Otherwise we'll deal with you too. A beggar threatened Morong Shuang's maid. Then with a gentle push, the maid fell to the ground. One of the beggars stepped forward to stop them, but the others did not stop what they were doing. Morong Shuang's clothes were stripped off in an instant. Morong Shuang's eyes reddened as her naked body was exposed to the air. A sense of humiliation filled her heart. Normally, she was the daughter of an official family, the young miss of a big family. She wouldn't even look at ordinary stinky men. But she didn't expect that she would expose her body to a group of beggars. In this lifetime, only her cousin could see her body. So what if a group of beggars saw it? Not to mention waiting for these beggars to defile her. He was too ashamed to face Mu Lianfeng in this situation. As soon as those beggars saw the naked Morong Shuang, their eyes immediately went straight. Chapter 2064. Any man who saw her would not be able to suppress the impulse in their heart, and would want to have a good time. To be able to sleep with such a woman, one could be considered to have reached the state of drunken stupor. As the saying goes, if one were to die under a peony, one would still be a romantic ghost. If Morong Shuang really wanted to seek revenge in the future, it would be fine. At least for now, they would have a good time. Based on Morong Shuang's appearance, even the top courtesan of Hua Man Lu could not compare to her. However, to sleep with the top courtesan of Hua Man Lu once, it would cost hundreds to thousands of taels of silver. If they could rape Morong Shuang this time, it would definitely be a profit for them. Brothers, come quickly. To be able to sleep with such a stunning woman, even if you die in the future, it won't be a pity. Yeah, it won't be a pity even if you lose your life. In any case, you can have fun. Such a beautiful woman. The taste of doing it will definitely be extraordinary. Stop talking, I'll go first. Let me have a taste. I'll go first, let me go first. No, I just took off her clothes. Naturally, I'll go first. Everyone has to pay attention to first come, first served. Don't fight, line up. A few beggars argued for a while, and finally discussed the order. A few of them helped to hold down Morong Shuang's hands and feet, so that Morong Shuang could not break free. The one who went first quickly took off his pants, and impatiently put his thing inside, having fun on Morong Shuang's body. An intense pain spread throughout Morong Shuang's body. Morong Shuang felt as if a sharp object had pierced her lower body, and she could not help but tremble in pain. However, the beggar who was galloping on her body did not pity her at all. Instead, the more he did it, the happier he felt, and the more his movements became. At this moment, aside from the heart-wrenching pain, Morong Shuang also felt unparalleled humiliation. Her body had been defiled by beggars, these smelly, old and ugly beggars. They actually touched her body. Morong Shuang suddenly felt disgusted and wanted to vomit. She cried out in pain and humiliation at the same time. Let me go, let me go. I'm going to kill each and every one of you. No, wouldn't it be too easy to kill you all? I'm going to turn each and every one of you into human swine. For treating me like this, I'll pay you back double. I'll make all of you wish you were dead. Morong Shuang's mournful voice echoed in the ruined house. Unfortunately, no one paid any attention to her shouts. The humiliation continued. When Morong Shuang took off her clothes, Yili shifted his sharp gaze away. He did not look at Morong Shuang's body like the other men. At the same time, he walked in front of Zhao Yun'er and blocked Zhao Yun'er's line of sight. He was afraid that Zhao Yun'er would see such a filthy scene later. His Yun'er was noble and pure in his heart, so she definitely couldn't see such a dirty scene. Zhao Yun'er's divine sense was muddled, but in a moment of clarity, she knew what Yili had done to Morong Shuang. Although this method was indeed cruel, Zhao Yun'er did not have the slightest bit of sympathy. How could she sympathize with Morong Shuang? If Yili had not rushed over in time, she would be the one suffering the same fate as Morong Shuang. Since she could be so cruel to her, when Yili made this decision, she could not stop him. Chapter 2065. Zhao Yun'er could hear the man's panting. She knew what was happening in the room. Being stirred up by these sounds, the desire in her body began to flare up again. Zhao Yun'er only felt that her chest was stuffy. Her body was also itchy and hot. She wished she could take off all her clothes at this moment to cool down. Hurry up. Once you're done, let's have a go. Don't hog it all to yourself. Some of the beggars who were watching from the side could not help but urge the man who was riding on Morong Shuang's body. The man replied reluctantly, Wait, what's the rush? I haven't had my fill yet. Then how long are you going to do it alone? Don't the rest of us have to do it? Hurry up, I'm dying of impatience. If you don't hurry up, we'll be suffocated. All right. Soon, soon. Don't rush me. The more you rush me, the more I can't get it out. Phew. When he finally came out, the beggar let out a sigh of relief. Glancing at the essence that he had left behind beneath Morong Shuang's body, he curled his lips into a satisfied smile and laughed. A long time ago, he also had a wife. However, after De Huang's death he escaped. His wife died on the way and he became a beggar. After so many years without a wife, he had not done this kind of thing for a long time. Now that he suddenly did it, and on such a beautiful woman's body, it was simply too satisfying. That feeling was something that his previous wives couldn't compare to. Now he did not care whether he lived or died. After all, he was a beggar with a cheap life. Today, he received such a great benefit. He would not have any regrets if he died someday. The other beggars quickly followed the previously discussed order and continued to ride Morong Shuang's body. At first, Morong Shuang was screaming miserably. In the end, not only was there no effect, her voice was even hoarse from screaming. Morong Shuang's eyes widened in despair. Looking at the ceiling, her eyes were filled with sadness and emptiness. At this moment she even had the heart to die. Her body was defiled. Would her cousin still look at her in the eye? Would anyone still want her in the future? Perhaps it was better to die. In any case, if this matter were to be known by others, she would no longer have the courage to continue living. She did not want to become a joke in the mouths of other young ladies from official families. The pain in his lower body gradually became numb, and there was no reaction. She was lying on the ground like a puppet. When the beggars were almost done with their work, Yili found that Zhao Yun'er's situation was getting worse. He said to the beggars, "Well, your task has been completed. I will let you go now. You can go now." Several beggars hurriedly thanked Yili. "Thank you, hero." Yili did not say anything. Instead, he picked up Zhao Yun'er from the ground and walked out of the dilapidated house. He wanted to take Zhao Yun'er to the medical center. Maybe the medical center could help Zhao Yun'er get rid of the effects of the drug. Waiting for Yi Li and Zhao Yun'er to leave, Morong Shuang's maid thought that these beggars would be able to restrain themselves and forget about their young lady. However, how could these addicted beggars be willing to leave Morong Shuang's body? Even without Yi Li's oppression, they still wanted to continue to have fun. Chapter 2066. After a long time, the beggars finally stopped and left in groups, leaving Morong Shuang lying on the ground, unable to move. Morong Shuang was naked, and her body was covered in bruises, especially her lower body, which was stained with blood. It was a ghastly sight. Morong Shuang's maid was scared out of her wits. She rushed to Morong Shuang's side and asked, "Miss, how are you? Are you all right? Miss, say something. Don't be like me. If you died, I wouldn't be able to live either." "Miss," looking at Morong Shuang, who was lying on the ground with her eyes wide open and looking up at the ceiling, the maid was scared out of her wits. She thought that something serious had happened to Morong Shuang, and she didn't even say a word. It was really scary. "Miss," the maid reached out her hand in fear and put her finger under Morong Shuang's nose. Seeing that Morong Shuang didn't say anything, she thought that Morong Shuang was dead. If Morong Shuang was really dead, then the situation would be even more serious. Fortunately, when she put her finger under Morong Shuang's nose, she felt a trace of breath. The maid heaved a sigh of relief. "Miss, you don't have to say anything. How are you?" the maid begged as she cried. Morong Shuang suddenly reached out her hands and slapped the maid's face. Slap! A red handprint appeared on the little handmaiden's face. Morong Shuang had used the last of her strength to slap the little handmaiden. The little handmaiden was stunned for a moment. Feeling the burning pain on her face, the maid's lips trembled, and she asked Morong Shuang, "Miss, what happened to you? Why did you hit me?" Seeing the maid's aggrieved face, Morong Shuang's face twisted and her gloomy eyes fell on the maid. "Why weren't you the one who went through all this? Miss, why couldn't you stop them? You're just a good-for-nothing. What's the use of having you?" "Miss, I couldn't stop them. I'm just a weak woman. I'm no match for them. If I could, I'd like to take your place." The little handmaiden wiped her eyes with her sleeve and sobbed. Hee hee, what's the use of saying all this now? I've been destroyed. It's too late. Why? Wasn't it Zhao Yin'er who went through all this today? How did it become like this? Morong Shuang found it hard to imagine how such a sudden change could happen, and caught her unprepared. If she knew what happened, she would never have chosen to lay a hand on Zhao Yin'er. However, it was too late to say all this now. Some things had already happened, and they could not be changed or erased. Morong Shuang, who had once been arrogant, might have died today. Morong Shuang could not find a reason to live. She would only become a joke in the future, and would be despised by her cousin. Then what was the point of living in this world? The maid's face to see Morong Shuang's face. Young miss, this servant will help you put on your clothes and send you to the medical hall. You've suffered such heavy injuries. If you don't treat them properly, you might even lose your life. Chapter 2067. After the little handmaiden finished speaking, she picked up Morong Shuang's torn clothes from the floor and hurriedly helped her put them back on. Unfortunately, these clothes were already torn and shredded. Even if Morong Shuang put them back on, they could only cover up her embarrassment. If anyone were to see her in such a disheveled state, it was likely that gossip would spread. Moreover, how could she carry Morong Shuang with her frail body? It would not be easy to get Morong Shuang back to her room. After giving it some thought, the little handmaiden said to Morong Shuang, "My lady, you can't go out like this. Why don't you rest here for a while? I'll go back to the Crown Prince's mansion and find you a set of clean clothes. Then I'll call for some help." Morong Shuang did not make a sound. She continued to stare blankly at the ceiling. The little handmaiden sighed. She could not care less at the moment. She could only do as she said. After glancing at Morong Shuang, the little handmaiden got up and left. Sigh. Not long after, the little handmaiden hurried back to the Crown Prince's mansion with some help in clothes. Then, she returned and helped Morong Shuang bring them back. On the other hand, after Yi Li carried Zhao Yin'er away, in Yi Li's arms, Zhao Yin'er realized that the effects of the medicine had become stronger. Her body was warm, and she desperately wanted to vent. Her body uncontrollably burrowed into Yi Li's arms. Yi Li looked at the blushing Zhao Yin'er in his arms, who could not stop rubbing against him. His heart could not help but tremble. A strange feeling surged into his heart. Yin'er. Yi Li could not help but murmur. Zhao Yin'er let out a low moan. Her voice was soft and fluffy. Anyone who heard it would feel their heart being stirred. How could he not have any reaction when he had a soft jade in his arms, especially when he was facing the woman he liked? Yi Li couldn't help but swallow. He was still suppressing the feelings in his heart, suppressing those thoughts that he shouldn't have. He quickened his pace and rushed to the clinic with Zhao Yin'er. After a while, Yi Li and Zhao Yin'er finally arrived at the clinic. "Where is the doctor? Doctor, come quickly and treat her," Yi Li shouted anxiously. "Young master, there are more patients today. There are still many people waiting in line. You should go and line up as well. When it's your turn, you can come over." Seeing Yi Li cut in line, the doctor in the clinic greeted Yi Li. Yi Li glanced at the people in the clinic. There were indeed a lot of people. If he waited any longer, by the time these people finished treating their illnesses, who knew what would happen to Zhao Yin'er? Yi Li did not dare to gamble with Zhao Yin'er's health. He only hoped that the doctor could take a look at Zhao Yin'er as soon as possible. "Doctor, I'm in a hurry. Can you take a look at me first?" Yi Li begged. The doctor frowned and refused. "You're in a hurry. Who isn't in a hurry to see a doctor? If I make an exception and let you take a look first, it would be unfair to the others. You should line up one by one. Do you think I'll only let you take a look at me then? I have to follow the rules. If you don't think it's possible, then go to another clinic." Chapter 2068. First come, first served. Since we queued up first, it's only natural for us to go first. Who wouldn't be anxious when they come to see a doctor? They hope that the doctor can help them as soon as possible. My stomach is still hurting so much that I can't breathe. I'm still waiting obediently. That's right. Could it be that you're the only one who's in a hurry? Others aren't? Young man, you should line up obediently. Don't cut in line, and don't make things difficult for the doctor. Yili couldn't help but frown when he heard the words of the doctor and the other patients. If he continued to wait, it would definitely be too late. In the current situation, he didn't know how long it would take for him to find another medical center. He would definitely be delayed on the way. Moreover, when he was asking for directions, the passers-by told him that this medical center had the best doctor in the entire capital. If he took Zhao Yun'er to another place, the other doctors might not be able to help Zhao Yun'er solve her current situation. Faced with this situation, Yili had no choice but to draw his sword and place it on the doctor's neck. Are you going to take a look now? If you don't, I'll kill you. The doctor trembled for a moment. Who would have thought that Yili would threaten him like this? Everyone was afraid of death. Although he was a doctor, he was no exception. Yes, I'll take a look now. Young master, don't be rash. Be careful of the sword in your hand. Don't touch me, the doctor replied in a trembling voice. He no longer had the domineering aura from before. The other patients didn't dare to say anything. Faced with a crazy man like Yili, if they said anything, the sword on the doctor's neck might fall on their necks. They weren't fools. They didn't want to die and provoke this kind of person. Yili said in a low voice. As long as you treat my illness, I won't hurt you. The doctor quickly nodded and replied. Yes. Young master, please come in. Bring your young lady to the inner room. I'll take a good look. Yili responded, then carried Zhao Yun'er to the inner room of the medical center. There was a couch inside. The doctor asked Yili to place Zhao Yun'er on the couch, then let Zhao Yun'er lie down. He then helped Zhao Yun'er to check on her condition. After taking a look, the doctor immediately understood what was going on. Doctor, how is it? Was there anything wrong with her? How can you treat her? The doctor replied, Young master, this young lady was only drugged with aphrodisiac is not a problem. As long as she had intercourse, the drug would naturally dissipate, and she would not have any major problems. From the looks of it, young master and young lady should be husband and wife, right? Why don't young master do it now? The girl will be fine soon. When Yili heard the doctor's words, her face immediately turned red. He and Yun'er? How could that be? Although he liked Zhao Yun'er very much, if he had sex with Zhao Yun'er in this situation, he could still save Zhao Yun'er's life. But he wasn't a shameless person. If he took advantage of Zhao Yun'er in this situation, it would only make him feel disdain. When Zhao Yun'er recovered her divine sense, she would inevitably hate him and blame him. When that time came, they couldn't even be friends. That would be a huge waste. Chapter 2069. The doctor furrowed his brows, then shook his head and sighed. Aside from sexual intercourse, there's no other way to solve this problem. Young master, if you don't want this girl to lose her life, then you should take her. I'm sure she won't blame you if she finds out. In the end, chastity isn't as important as life. In the future, you can just marry each other. It's not a big deal. Yili was unwilling to give up and asked, Doctor, is there really no other way? The doctor shook his head again. Young master, there really isn't. I'm not the only one who doesn't have a way. I'm afraid all the doctors in the capital won't be able to find a way. Young master, please forgive this old man for not being able to help. Yili's expression darkened. From the doctor's expression, it seemed like there really wasn't any other way. He couldn't force the doctor to do something against his will. Even if he killed the doctor now, he still wouldn't be able to save Zhao Yun'er. The doctor stood up and said to Yili, Young master, I'll leave the inner room to you. This old man will go out and help treat the other patients. Young master, have you thought about whether or not to use this method to save this girl? After the doctor finished speaking, he stood up and left. Yili glanced at Zhao Yun'er, who was lying on the couch. At this moment, Zhao Yun'er's face was even redder and hotter. Her condition was even worse than before. As for Zhao Yun'er, because her body was getting hotter and hotter, she continuously tore at her clothes. So hot. Zhao Yun'er muttered. Her mouth was dry and astringent. It was very uncomfortable. Yili stood by the side, watching over her. He was very anxious, but there was nothing he could do. He didn't feel good, especially when he saw Zhao Yun'er's pained expression. Yili felt his heart ache terribly. Yun'er, Yili whispered in Zhao Yun'er's ear. Zhao Yun'er opened her eyes and looked at Yili's handsome and exquisite face. You keep your distance from me. Stay away from me, Zhao Yun'er said with some difficulty. Yun'er. Yili was a little confused. He didn't know what Zhao Yun'er meant. Could it be that she was blaming him? Seeing Yili's confusion, Zhao Yun'er furrowed her brows in pain and explained with some difficulty. You're too close to me. I'm afraid I won't be able to resist eating you. Yili was stunned. Then, he understood what Zhao Yun'er meant by eating him. Her face couldn't help but turn red. According to Zhao Yun'er's words, she helped to keep a distance from Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er felt that she was about to lose control of herself. She had to do something. When she completely lost her divine sense, she was really afraid that she would do something impulsive. Zhao Yun'er reached out and touched the hairpin on her head. Then she took it off. Gritting his teeth, he hardened his heart and cut open a huge wound on his arm. Then blood gushed out from her arm. At this time, Zhao Yun'er felt a trace of pain. It was this pain that made her sober up a lot. The smell of blood filled her nose. But Zhao Yun'er hooked up the corner of her mouth and smiled. Because this sober feeling diluted the desire in her body, she felt a lot better. Yili was a little frightened. Seeing Zhao Yun'er's bleeding arm, he hurriedly asked Zhao Yun'er, Yun'er, what are you doing? How can you hurt yourself? Hurry and stop. Chapter 2070. Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er furrowed her brows in pain, then said in a low voice, Yili. Thank you for today. Can I trouble you to send me back now? Okay. Yili quickly responded. Zhao Yun'er thanked him gratefully. Thank you. If Yili hadn't appeared in time today, she didn't know what would have happened. But in her current situation, she couldn't say much, so she could only endure it. She would thank Yili again when she got better. Yili shook his head. Yun'er, why are you being so polite with me? I'm willing to do anything for you. As Yili spoke, he carried Zhao Yun'er in his arms and walked out of the clinic. He rented a carriage on the street and hurriedly sent Zhao Yun'er back to Shuilan village. On the way, he kept urging the coachman to hurry up, afraid that Zhao Yun'er would be delayed. After about 10 minutes, they finally arrived at Zhao Yun'er's home. Along the way, because Zhao Yun'er's wound was bleeding, Zhao Yun'er's lips gradually became pale, and a layer of cold sweat seeped out from her forehead. Yili was also worried the whole way. It was really the first time she had seen a woman treat herself like this. How cruel must she be to hurt herself so deeply? But because of this, Yili felt that Zhao Yun'er was different from other women. Compared to Zhao Yun'er, those ordinary women were not worth mentioning. When they arrived at Zhao Yun'er's house, Yili quickly greeted Zhao Yun'er's family. At this moment, he saw Mu Lianfeng walk out of the house. He originally wanted to carry Zhao Yun'er out of the carriage, but he knew that in front of Zhao Yun'er's family, especially Mu Lianfeng, who might be staying at Zhao Yun'er's house, he was afraid that others would have misunderstandings. It didn't matter what others thought of him. What was important was that he was afraid of affecting Zhao Yun'er. What happened to Yun'er? When Mu Lianfeng heard that something had happened to Zhao Yun'er, his face instantly turned pale, and he quickly rushed in the direction of the carriage. He opened the curtain and saw Zhao Yun'er, who was covered in blood and had a pale face. When Mu Lianfeng saw this situation, his heart skipped a beat. Yun'er. When Zhao Yun'er heard Mu Lianfeng's voice, she looked up. Yun'er, what happened to you? At this moment, Zhao Yun'er was so weak that she couldn't speak. Yili quickly said, Miss Yun'er's arm is injured and she's bleeding a lot. You'd better take her back to the house first. We'll explain this matter later. Mu Lianfeng was silent for a moment. Then he quickly carried Zhao Yun'er out of the carriage and carried her back to the house. Zhao Yun'er's family was also badly frightened. When Liang Jinxiao saw the blood-stained Zhao Yun'er in Mu Lianfeng's arms, he immediately felt his legs go weak. If Zhao Wenhua hadn't supported him in time, he would have fallen to the ground. Yun'er's father. What happened to Yun'er? Liang Jinxiao's lips trembled as he asked worriedly. Zhao Wenhua's face was also dark as he looked worriedly at Zhao Yuner. He shook his head and said, I also don't know what happened to Yuner. Yuner's father, your daughter is covered in blood. One look, and you can tell that she's seriously injured. What should we do? Liang Jinxiao muttered worriedly. Chapter 2071. Liang Jinxiao could only comfort himself like this. Yes. Yuner must be fine. Bodhisattva, please bless her well. Don't let anything happen to her. After silently reciting this sentence, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua were about to go into the room to check on Zhao Yuner's condition, but they were stopped by Yili. Uncle, Aunt, it's better if you don't go. Let the heir take care of her. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were somewhat puzzled. Why does this young master say that? Yuner's injuries are so serious that we can't help but worry. That's why we want to check on Yuner's condition. If there's anything we can help with, we can help in time. Yi Li's face slightly reddened, and he weakly explained to Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao. Yuner's injuries are not serious. She'll be fine after being properly treated and bandaged. The reason why she looks so serious is because she was drugged with an aphrodisiac. Yi Li explained the situation. Although it was a little melodramatic, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao still understood. Now that they thought about it, it was really thanks to Yi Li that Zhao Yuner could be saved today. The couple was very grateful. They immediately knelt in front of Yi Li and said to Yi Li, Benefactor, our Yuner owes you a lot. If it weren't for you, we don't know what our daughter would be like right now. The reason why Yuner is safe and sound is all thanks to you. You are our great benefactor. We can't repay you even if we work like a cow or a horse. Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua both knew that if Zhao Yuner lost her innocence, the consequences would be as serious as Zhao Yuner losing her life. Yi Li acted in time to save Zhao Yuner from being tainted, which was equivalent to saving her life. Yi Li was slightly stunned by Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua's reactions. He quickly helped them up from the ground. Uncle, Auntie, don't be like this. Get up quickly. I'm just a junior. I can't bear it. I volunteered to help Yuner. I didn't expect anyone to be grateful to me. Even though Yi Li said so, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua were still very grateful to Yi Li. Benefactor, you must be tired. Come in and have a seat. Drink some water. Liang Jinxiao said. Yi Li hesitated for a moment and was a little embarrassed to go in. No. I think I should head back. Yi Li declined. Liang Jinxiao looked at the sky. After all the commotion, the sky was almost dark. If he rushed back now, he didn't know if he could make it in time. Of course, the most important thing was that he saved their daughter. In any case, they had to show some appreciation and entertain him. Otherwise, once Yi Li left, they wouldn't know where to find him. They wouldn't even have a chance to express their gratitude. Benefactor, it's getting late. Why don't you stay at my house for the night? I have a lot of rooms at home. It's fine to tidy up a room, Liang Jinxiao pleaded. Zhao Wenhua also chimed in. That's right, benefactor. Why don't you stay at our house for the night? We'll cook a few more dishes tonight to entertain you and express our gratitude more or less. And Yuner definitely wants to thank you in person. Yi Li wanted to refuse, but Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were very attentive. One after another, Yi Li didn't know how to interrupt. In the end, Yi Li had no choice but to nod and agree to stay for the night. Actually, he was still worried about Zhao Yuner. He could only rest assured when he made sure that Zhao Yuner was completely fine. Chapter 2072. If he stayed today, it would be good if he could talk to Zhao Yuner more. He had left Yang City for so long, and he came back this time to see Zhao Yuner. If he stayed, he would naturally have more time to interact with Zhao Yuner. Uncle, Auntie, I'll have to trouble you then. Yi Li was a little embarrassed as he said to Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao quickly waved his hand. It's no trouble at all. Please come in, benefactor. Okay. As for Zhao Yuner, Mu Lianfeng hurriedly carried Zhao Yuner into the house. Then, he placed Zhao Yuner on the bed and hurriedly rummaged through the cabinets to find the wound medicine that he had brought with him. Blood was still seeping out of Zhao Yin'er's arm from time to time. It was obvious that it was very serious. Mu Lianfeng first brought a basin of hot water and wiped the blood off Zhao Yin'er's arm. Then, he applied the wound medicine on Zhao Yin'er's arm, and the bleeding stopped immediately. Mu Lianfeng found a clean white cloth and gently bandaged the wound on Zhao Yin'er's arm. Then, he saw that Zhao Yin'er's face was still very pale, and her expression was even more painful. Mu Lianfeng asked gently, "Yin'er, do you still feel pain anywhere on your body? Where else are you hurt?" Zhao Yin'er shook her head. No. The pain in her arm had indeed subsided a lot, but it was precisely because of this that Zhao Yin'er's desire rose again. The original pain had suppressed the desire with great difficulty. Now that the pain was gone, another feeling naturally rushed to her heart. "But why do you look so uncomfortable?" Mu Lianfeng frowned, his face full of worry. Then, he reached out and touched Zhao Yin'er's forehead. Seeing that Zhao Yin'er's forehead suddenly became boiling hot, Mu Lianfeng immediately panicked. What's going on? "Yin'er, I'd better get a doctor to take a look at you. Lie down first." After all, he was not a doctor. He really could not tell the reason for Zhao Yin'er's discomfort, and he did not dare to delay, afraid that he would make a mistake. If anything happened to Zhao Yin'er, he could not afford to delay it. "There's no need." Seeing that Mu Lianfeng was about to get up and leave, Zhao Yin'er hurriedly grabbed Mu Lianfeng's hand and called out to him, "Yin'er." Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yin'er with some confusion. "There's no need to get a doctor. You're enough," Zhao Yin'er said softly. Mu Lianfeng was slightly stunned. No one understood the meaning of Zhao Yin'er's words. Zhao Yin'er did not explain. She directly pounced on Mu Lianfeng. Her small hands began to grope Mu Lianfeng's body mischievously. Mu Lianfeng's body trembled. Yin'er, looking at the person in his arms, her small face was red. She was shy and at the same time, she looked very cute. Zhao Yin'er did not stop. She gently groped a few times and unbuttoned Mu Lianfeng's clothes. Mu Lianfeng was even more puzzled. He grabbed Zhao Yin'er's hand and said to Zhao Yin'er, "Yin'er, don't mess around. You're injured. How can you mess around like this? What if you tug on your wound?" "Oh, it's okay," Zhao Yin'er replied softly again. Her body was still leaning on Mu Lianfeng. Mu Lianfeng was really helpless. "Yin'er, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell? You're injured, why are you still?" Zhao Yin'er lifted her blushing face and looked at Mu Lianfeng's handsome face. Then with a smack sound she kissed him. Chapter 2073. It was really Zhao Yin'er's soft words that made Mu Lianfeng's heart tremble slightly. He wasn't an abstinent man, so how could he stand being provoked by the woman he liked? Mu Lianfeng's throat moved, and he called out in a low voice, "Yin'er, I want it. Give it to me." Zhao Yin'er looked at him pitifully, as if she was begging. "Yin'er, why do you suddenly want this in the middle of the day? Why don't we wait until nighttime?" Mu Lianfeng hesitated and asked. In the past, when he wanted to do this to Zhao Yin'er during the day, Zhao Yin'er rejected him very strictly. He did not expect Zhao Yin'er to take the initiative to ask. So Mu Lianfeng felt that something was wrong with Zhao Yin'er. He was afraid that there was something wrong with Zhao Yin'er. He couldn't take advantage of the situation and attack Zhao Yin'er at this time. "No, I want it now. Yin'er, I'm so hot." Zhao Yin'er could not control her body. She did not care so much and directly unbuttoned her clothes. Mu Lianfeng saw that Zhao Yin'er's entire body had become hot, and her reaction was so abnormal. He frowned and thought for a while, and found that Zhao Yin'er was abnormal. Zhao Yin'er seemed to have been drugged with an aphrodisiac. He had heard a little about the effects of this drug, although he was not sure if Zhao Yin'er was really drugged with this drug, and did not understand why Zhao Yin'er was drugged with this drug. It was obvious that Zhao Yin'er's body needed to be relieved. If she was not satisfied, she would probably die of discomfort. Zhao Yin'er unbuttoned her clothes, revealing her smooth body. It was the first time that Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yin'er like this in the daytime. How could he restrain himself? He had never seen Zhao Yin'er like this before. Seeing that Zhao Yin'er was about to climb over again, Mu Lianfeng hurriedly got up and closed the doors and windows. It was too dangerous to do this in the daytime. If someone broke in and saw it, it would be very embarrassing. After closing the door and windows, Mu Lianfeng came to the bedside. He did not need Zhao Yuner to continue to provoke him. He also could not control himself, and began to press down on her. The two of them tossed and turned. Mu Lianfeng was a little careful when he did it, for fear of hurting Zhao Yuner's arm. When it was over, the temperature of Zhao Yuner's hot little face dissipated a lot, and her whole person gradually became sober. Mu Lianfeng was then sure that Zhao Yuner was indeed under the influence of an aphrodisiac. At the same time, a hint of sharpness flashed across his eyes. If he found out who treated Yuner like this, he would definitely not let them off easily. "Yuner, how are you now?" Zhao Yuner faced Mu Lianfeng with her naked body. She awkwardly tugged at the blanket and covered her body. Then she smiled and said, "I'm fine now." This aphrodisiac was really a little strange. When she was unable to have sex, she felt as if she was bitten by a group of mosquitoes. When it was over, she would immediately be fine. If it were not for Mu Lianfeng, she reckoned that she would have suffocated to death after holding it in for a while. "That's good." Mu Lianfeng breathed a sigh of relief. Then he asked what had happened. Zhao Yuner did not hide anything. She did not want to forgive or understand what that woman, Morong Shuang, had done to her. Even though she knew that that woman was Mu Lianfeng's cousin, and that Mu Lianfeng might be in a difficult position, she wanted to know Mu Lianfeng's attitude. If Mu Lianfeng was biased or was not prepared to do anything, she would be very disappointed in this man. Chapter 2074. Mu Lianfeng clenched his fists tightly. With a gloomy face he said coldly, "That girl has gone too far. Yuner, I'm going to look for her now. How could a lady from a respectable family do such a dirty thing? Since she's so shameless, I don't have to care about her reputation. I must make her pay for this. Even if she dies, she won't be able to make up for her actions. I won't let her off easily for Auntie's sake." Mu Lianfeng pretended to get up and look for Morong Shuang to settle things. He was really angry this time. If Zhao Yuner hadn't been rescued this time, he couldn't imagine the consequences. If something happened to Zhao Yuner, perhaps the two of them wouldn't be able to bear the pain. As for Morong Shuang, a debt of blood must be paid in blood. She was so vicious, she naturally deserved the same punishment. Although Morong Shuang was his cousin, Zhao Yuner was more important to him. "I'm going to catch her now. Yuner, you can punish her however you want. She owes you this." Seeing that Mu Lianfeng was about to go look for Morong Shuang, Zhao Yuner grabbed Mu Lianfeng's hand. Zhao Yuner didn't tell Mu Lianfeng that Morong Shuang's innocence had been sullied. If he went now, he would definitely be discovered. "Forget it. It's already very late. Let's go tomorrow. I'm a little tired too. I want to rest well." Zhao Yuner said softly, "Yuner, don't you want to punish her now? Don't worry about her leaving Yang City. If she goes to the capital, it'll be difficult for me to catch her." After all, his power didn't have any foundation in the capital. On the other hand, the Morong family was powerful and had some connections with Imperial Consort Hua. When Morong Shuang returned to the capital, it wouldn't be easy to settle the score with Morong Shuang. His aunts and uncles are all protective. Zhao Yuner's innocence may not be put in their eyes, let alone looking for them to reason with anything. Now, the most important thing was to catch Morong Shuang as soon as possible and punish her as soon as possible. Otherwise, undue delay might lead to other problems. Zhao Yuner still shook her head. "No, even if she leaves, it's God's arrangement. I believe that bad people will have their own retribution." Morong Shuang had already been gang raped. Mu Lianfeng had really caught her. Zhao Yuner did not think of any other punishment. Could it be that he was going to ask her to reincarnate? After what Yili had done, Zhao Yuner had vented her anger. The reason why she still mentioned it to Mu Lianfeng now was to let Mu Lianfeng understand what Morong Shuang had done. She wanted him to know how vicious and evil Morong Shuang was. Now that Morong Shuang had lost her virginity and made Mu Lianfeng hate her, it must be the most painful thing for her. "Okay, Yuner, I'll listen to you. When you're better, I'll go and settle the score with her tomorrow." "Okay," Zhao Yuner replied weakly. Just as she got dressed and lay down to rest, Zhao Yun'er thought of Mulan. She had been caught and Mulan had been knocked unconscious. She was still on the mountain and didn't know if she had woken up. There were so many beasts on the mountain that it was easy to get into danger. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly told Mu Lianfeng to go up the mountain and look for her. He must not let anything happen to Mulan. Chapter 2075. Mulan had been running all the way. Now that she was speaking in front of Mu Lianfeng, she was panting and a little out of breath. Her flustered expression made her look very anxious. If he didn't know that Zhao Yun'er was back, he would probably be anxious too when he saw Mulan in this state. Mu Lianfeng asked Mulan, "Sister-in-law Mulan, are you all right?" Mulan waved her hand, then patted her chest and panted heavily. She replied to Mu Lianfeng, "Sir, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Hurry up and save Yun'er. Yun'er has been kidnapped by 2 bad guys. She's in danger now. Sister-in-law Mulan, Yun'er has just been rescued by someone. She's worried about your situation and afraid that you're in danger, so she asked me to come and see you," Mu Lianfeng explained. Upon hearing Mu Lianfeng's words, Mulan was slightly stunned. "Sir, is it true? Yun'er is back now. Is she all right?" Mu Lianfeng nodded heavily. "Yes, she's lying in the room now. She should be fine if she has a good rest." Mulan felt that the heavy stone pressing on her chest had finally been lifted. She heaved a long sigh of relief, then said happily, that's good. Yun'er is indeed lucky. She's fine. I was almost scared to death." Mu Lianfeng pursed his lips and replied politely, "Sister-in-law Mulan, why don't you go into the room to check on Yun? You two are worried about each other." "Okay." Mulan responded and rushed into Zhao Yun'er's room. As soon as she entered the room, she saw Zhao Yun'er sitting on the bed. Her face was pale, and her arm was still bandaged. Mulan hurried over and asked, "Yun'er, how are you? Where are you hurt?" "Sister Mulan, I'm fine. Don't worry about me." Zhao Yun'er smiled and comforted her. "How about you? How are you? Did you encounter any danger?" "How could I encounter any danger? No matter how powerful the beasts on the mountain are, they are not as scary as humans. The 2 men who captured you looked very fierce. It was obvious that they were up to no good. You were taken away by these people. How can I not be worried?" Mulan let out a long sigh, worry written all over her face. "All right, aren't I back now? Sometimes you can't avoid bad luck, but if you're lucky, you can always escape danger. That's right, Yun'er. You're a good person. You'll be fine." The 2 of them chatted for a while. Seeing that it was getting late, and that Mulan had to prepare dinner, they went back. Mulan sent Zhao Yun'er's share of the mushrooms and game that they brought back from the mountain. The mushrooms could be made into soup at night. It would definitely be very delicious. As for the wild rabbit, it would taste very good regardless of whether it was roasted or braised. In the evening, Daodu and Zhao Tianfu came back from playing crazily outside. Usually, the 2 children had never played so late. If it weren't for the fact that something happened to Zhao Yun'er today, and the adults' attention was not on the children, the 2 children would definitely be anxious to come back so late. As soon as he saw Daodu and Zhao Tianfu come back, Liang Jinxiao hurriedly asked, "Oh, why did the 2 of you come back so late? It's getting dark. It's dangerous outside. Don't play so late next time. Come back earlier, okay?" Yes, Grandma, we know. Uncle and I played with snails today. Look, we got a lot of snails. That you're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.